This is Matikioma on RH1. Welcome to the final round of the 2025 Gran Turismo World Series live and late night. There is potentiality that Team Subaru would clinch a Manufacturers' Cup title. Meanwhile, Jose Serrano could clinch a Nations' Cup title. However, Pol Ura is potential at dethroning his streak. Can Jose keep the streak alive, especially Subaru becoming champions? Don't get tired because the showdown starts right now.
Hey guys. Alright. Hey guys, Richard here. So no, I'm not talking as as acting disappointed or frustrated or something. It's just normal thing. I'm talking in the world pitch right now because first of all, it's late night, and second of all, I don't want to disturb one another's sleeping. I don't want to disturb my family sleeping because yeah, that's also the reason why it's late night. So that's also the reason why I got my mic off. That's why I turned off the mic. So, anyways, as you may have heard, Subaru would potentially get a Manufacturers' Cup title and become the Manufacturers' champions. Anyways, it's 2:59. I don't have time, and without further ado, let's not waste time. Let's get this started. No commentary. Also, forgot to mention, I have my headphones on because that's also the reason why I cannot disturb them sleeping. So I got my headphones on because I'm trying to not turn my computer very well. Because yes, I have to sleep. Yes, I'm a teenager. But it's starting now.
Hello. Welcome to the Gran Turismo World Series Grand Finals coming to you live from Fukuoka. Hi, everybody.
福岡の皆さん、グランツーリスモワールドシリーズワールドファイナル、いよいよやってまいりました、Jules.
Yeah, my name's Jules Hardy. I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined now once again by Sasha. Give him a big round of applause. Welcome him back.
どうもサッシャです。そしてジュールさんにも大きな拍手をお送りください。Welcome back, Jules, to Japan.
We do love Japan. So, are you guys ready for some of the best sim racing in the world?
世界のベストなシムレースの準備はできてますか？見る準備は。They're ready.
Yeah. Are you ready, most importantly, too?
I am, and are you ready, Jules?
I am always ready for some of the best sim racing in the world. But that's just me. Okay, do you guys like free stuff?
無料なものは好きですか？無料なものは好きです。なんか無料でもらえるのは好きですか？
Oh? No.
Yes?
Maybe?
Yes.
No? Why don't they want free stuff,
I
Sasha?
don't know. 無料なものが欲しくないんですか？無料でなんかもらえたらいいなっていう人、手挙げて。はい。
Yes!
Yes, that's it.
Okay, that's the answer I wanted, because let's take a look at this new campaign.
Don't forget that you can get involved with the World Series inside Gran Turismo 7 with the bonus campaign. Just click on the Champions campaign banner on the GT7 World map, and that's going to give you the chance to win 1 million credits for each of the Nations Cup and the Manufacturers Cup by predicting who's going to win. Just think of all the stuff you could buy with that. Don't forget that you can enter and vote right up until the start of each grand final. Good luck. Watch the World Series broadcast through your GT7 game, and you'll unlock some special in-game rewards through the Viewers campaign. Watching the Manufacturers Cup means you'll be gifted a car with the Series Champion livery. Tune in and claim your rewards. Everyone likes free stuff, myself included, and here's your chance to grab some.
Well, I know you've missed a little bit here and there, Sasha, but super ahead, but like only by a couple of points.
Right, only 2 points for Mazda and BMW, right?
Like, yeah, it's really not that far behind. And as you guys who are fans of Gran Turismo know, anything can happen because it's double points in the grand final.
Right. 本当にね、1位とまだ2位の差が2ポイントということですけど、グランドファイナルはね、ポイントがダブルになるということで、何が起きてもおかしくないという状況で、この、最終のね、豪華を迎えたということになりますね。Yes, Jules?
It's going to be super fun. I'm excited. I'm excited you're here for it. But if you missed anything and you wonder, like, how we got here, you should watch this.
I want.
Yeah, we'll give you a little bit of a season recap.
ここまでのリキャップを見てみましょう。
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've all been waiting for. It's time to meet the drivers for the Manufacturers Cup for Gran Turismo World Series 1 here in London. Suzuki is not thinking about right now. Miyazono looking to the
Hold on a second. Didn't they? Hold on a second. Did they just use the music I used for my F9 Lorenzo film? If you don't know, my F9 Lorenzo film is. I did an F9 Lorenzo unveiling video, and it has become the most popular video on my Dylan Clark channel. So. Thanks a lot. And it's also used on that BYD commercial, so yeah, that's the reason information on there. I was going to be able to use that. By the way, I believe the music is called Winter Gate by Splice. It means like this video is kind of buffering. I gotta fix it. Seems to be having some technical difficulties for a little. It's taking forever trying to get the ads out of here. I have an ad blocker, so that was okay.
Yusuke Goto, Alf Althea, and Simon Rosenberger. Next, Honda. 続いては Honda. Yosuke Tsuchimura, Valerio Gallo, and Trent Jeffrey. And for Ferrari はこのメンバー。Jun Hashima, Joao Jesus, Donovan Parker, And now for Lexus チームです。Kanata Kawakami, Giorgio Mangano, and Harold Wilson. Mercedes AMG, Mercedes AMG です。Kojiro Sasaki, Noah Lanusa, and Lucas Bonelli. 続いてはマクラーレン、マクローレン。Hideo Yamamoto, Jay Murphy, and Honda Mosso. Suita Team Nissanです. Team Nissan. Hiroshi Okamoto, Milokai Sejak, and Celso Filho. And Team Toyota, Team Toyota の登場. Kenta Morimoto, Kai De Bruyne, and Adriano Carrasa. Next up, Porsche team です。Shota Sato, Jose Inostraza, and Jose Serrano and Angel Inostraza. BMW, Seiya Suzuki, Thomas Love. 続いてはチーム松田です。Mazda, Ryota Kokubun, Paul Ura, and Samuel Cardinal. And Team Subaru, Team Subaru. Takuma Miyazono, Killian Vermont, and Daniel Solis. それでは日本国国歌の演奏です。ご起立ください。Please rise for the national anthem of Japan.
Yeah, just as an effort.
I presume about beautiful Fukuoka. Tell us more about it.
Fukuoka is south of Japan. It's one of the most enthusiastic city in Japan. It's like a growth city with young people. Like everything is so energetic here. It's a wonderful city.
I haven't been outside much yet, but I will after the event.
Yeah,
where do you recommend to go?
Oh, you should go to the Dazaifu Tenmangu. That's a shrine, and it's a beautiful atmosphere. So a little bit of the calm side of Japan to enjoy.
Well, I think some of these guys had a little bit of respite before starting this,
Yeah.
but maybe now it's not so much Fukuoka on their mind; it's winning.
Exactly.
What do you think? I mean, you've been to our shows before.
Yeah.
It really is anything to play for.
Yeah, the World Finals are different, it's different vibe. いよいよワールドファイナルということですけれども、緊張感も高まるわけですけど、皆さんワールドファイナルズ楽しみにしてきたと思うんですけれども、さあみんな揃ってどうですか、気持ちは。今緊張感高まってますか？ Everybody's enjoying.
Well, I'm excited to get this. All right, it's just Paul Laura just running through quickly. There we go. It's fine. It's important to get things correct before we start the race. That's
we
okay.
want to do it, in a nice, smoothly way. So.
And also, you can tell it's live.
It is. 今前通りましてすいません、生放送です。はい。
Okay, right. If you don't know the structure of how Gran Turismo World Series works, we've got a little bit of a competition breakdown for you.
The Manufacturers' Cup features 12 teams of 3 drivers, selected from the 2025 online series rankings. Each team includes 1 driver from each global region: Asia, Oceania, EMEA, and the Americas. 1 driver per team races in each round, with all 3 competing together at the World Finals here in Fukuoka. Today, the time trial session sets the grid for race 1. Across races 1 to 3, 1 driver per team competes, and the results set the grid for the next. Points are awarded in every race. In the grand final, all 3 drivers compete for double points. With everything on the line, only 1 team will be crowned Manufacturers' Cup champions.
So down here on the stage with the team in the lead Team Subaru. Hello, guys. So first of all, Killian, how are you feeling? You got to the grand final. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. So I'm really excited to racing and to see all the guys and racing with all the people now. So let's see what's happening.
はい、キリアンはね、もう本当に自信持って、戦いたいというふうに言っていますけど、宮園選手はどうですか、この最終、いよいよファイナルですけど。
はい、しっかり練習してきたんですけど、すごく緊張してて、今すぐトイレに行きたいな。
He's so nervous he want to go to the toilet.
What? Why are you nervous?
なんで緊張してるんですか
Yes or no?
今回2人の調子
Both so good, so we have a chance to win. So that's the reason I'm really nervous, especially nervous.
And Danny, when we talked to you last time in Los Angeles, you weren't feeling like you weren't quite in the moment there. But I talked to you again, and you're feeling a lot more confident. Talk a bit about why you're feeling a bit more confident this time.
I got some good practice for this event compared to other ones, so now I feel really good. But also, same boat as him, I'm very nervous because we're chasing a win. I think we can do it. So this is the most nervous I think I've ever been.
Would it help if I got the crowd to chant your name again?
You could.
Should we give a little go on?
Okay.
Danny, 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 Danny.
福岡も応援してくれています。Thank you so much. Now you have all of the, crowd behind you and helping you.
Thank you.
ハートマークいただきました。ありがとうございます。
Well, I think it's time we put you out of your misery so you can get racing, have fun, drive safe, and let's get this underway. Over to you, Tom and Jimmy.
Yeah. Thank you very much indeed, Jules. Yeah, welcome along to the GT desk for the first time. Great to be here in Fukuoka for the Gran Turismo World Finals in the Manufacturers' Cup. Tight at the top, JB, isn't it? Double points on offer for the grand final, but 4 races here tonight. It's going to be a busy one. They're going to be absolutely knackered by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, look, my Daniel Solis say we ruined that performance at LA because that basically made it all the closer. It's basically just whoever wins overall here. So here's a reminder of the team and driver line. We just heard from Subaru there on stage. Of course, Team Mazda as well. Very, very strong showing of Paul Uricardinal and Kochman there. BMW also in the mix as well. A bit lower down the order as well, like some McLaren, Toyota, Nissan. Anyone there jump out at you for the outside charms this one, Tom?
Well, you can't discount Nissan. Previous champions, obviously Toyota have got good pace. Porsche, I think, are the sort of dark horse for me. They're in 4th in the standings. Not quite as consistent results over the course of the season, but last time out, they were absolutely unstoppable, weren't they? And if they can continue that momentum here tonight, I dare say they are the ones to watch. And I spoke to Angel Nestroza, one of their drivers, the other day. He's going in all guns blazing for this.
It's not often that Angel's fired up, is it? But to see him really focusing is very special indeed. Here is your points rankings as it is at the moment. Look how tight it is. Top 4 teams there within 3 points of each other. Toyota and Nissan also close as well. Ferrari, Honda and Lamborghini, no points as of yet. A very, very outside chance for them, but never say never.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look then, shall we, at the track details. As we said, one of 4 races coming along the way here tonight. Group 3 cars, Jasper in the circuit. This is qualifying. So a 1-lap time attack. Of course, a brand new circuit now in GT7 as part of the Spec 3 update that was released earlier on this month. Jimmy, it's a technical circuit, this one, especially that final sector.
Yeah, it's a strange one, this, because the first and last sector, so you've got some very high-speed corners there. People say it's broken up by this huge straight. Now, we had qualifying a bit earlier on today, Here's on board with Team Porsche sort of in the dying moments there. We didn't really know what to expect for who was set the early pace, but it was Nissan and Sejak very quick initially. Then Porsche would come across the line and go even better, only jittering Nissan by 300th of a second.
Yeah, this is Paul Ura, as you can see, coming through. Point to mention as well, AMG didn't actually get a lap time in at all. They actually got a penalty on their lap that was disallowed as a result of track limits. This was Mazda going through, Paul Ura blitzing the field, and then all eyes were on Kylian Drumont and Subaru to try and bounce back from a difficult World Series 3 in Los Angeles a few weeks ago. Drumont was behind the wheel, as we know. He came across the timing line, wasn't quite enough, less than a tenth of a second in it, so it's Mazda that will start the first race of the Manufacturers' Cup on pole position. They are second, as we know, in the standings. And then you've got Subaru, then you've got Porsche. Leaders, of course, Subaru there, starting on that front row of the grid.
Yeah, a bit of a disaster for Team BMW there. Very strong contenders, of course, currently joined second with Mazda, but starting down in P11 at the start. So really not ideal for those guys at all.
No, not at all. And of course, as we know, Spec 3 update gave us a couple of new circuits, a few new cars in the GT game, but also gave us this brand new feature, the data logger. So we've sort of overlaid 2 laps against one another. Jimmy, what can you pick out from this?
Yeah, this is fascinating. So this is the Mazda versus the Subaru, 2 very different cars and where they find their pace. You see early on the Mazda just behind the Subaru, but then here comes the main straight and here comes the talent button, or the throttle pedal as I call it, back through nice and easy. But you see really just swapping positions from there, and completely different lines coming onto this back straight, with the Subaru just aiming for more mid-corner speed rather than exit. At this point, you think, oh, the Mazda's got it completely sewn up. But here in this last sector is where Team Subaru and Kylian Drumont really made the difference. So coming under the hotel section now, so the Subaru having a bit of a shorter line, it can do that. It has more agility, whereas Mazda has to use the whole circuit at this point. And into these last 2 corners, it really is any car for itself. And the Subaru just getting closer and closer. And we watched this a bit earlier on, and I was convinced, this is it, Drumont's got it here, but no, not quite fast enough. And the Mazda just picking him out by 900th of a second. But awesome to have that on screen there and visualizing that way using our data logger.
Yeah, just the finest of margins here in the GT World Series. As ever, Manufacturers' Cup Race 1 is along the way. Don't forget about scanning the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Tell us who you think is going to be challenging for victory here tonight, because I tell you what, it is going to be a very, very close affair. And it's just so difficult to work out what's going to happen. 3 normal races, quote unquote, with 3 of the different drivers. Then they all come together for that grand final.
Yeah, I would say normal. Here's race 1. It's Daytona. You ever seen Group 3 cars go around Daytona? Well, no, here it is, right here. So 10 laps of the Daytona Oval Circuit. And you know the most important thing about this? We had chat with stewards, and like we have allowed bump drafting for this one. Usually, if you're aware, of course, of these GT World Series events, bump drafting is outlawed. Not here. So it's going to be a close race, this one.
Yeah, you were like the cat that got the Cree when you found out the bump drafting was allowed.
Proper.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, this, because you can see the starting grid. So who's decided to drive in this first race? See, Danny Solis, the American driver there for Subaru. Samuel Cardinal will be heading Mazda's charge from pole position. Sato for Porsche there as well. Philo for Nissan, and so on and so forth. I'll tell you what, though, opportunity does knock here for some of the teams and drivers that maybe didn't go so well in qualifying, because even though you might be starting down the grid, of course, there's a massive slipstream effect at this circuit. So it's an opportunity to make progress where you may not have been able to otherwise.
Yeah, for sure. One of those teams, of course, Team Ferrari, who have been gifted with a brand new car for this last race of the year. Last race is a 296 GT3, of course, again, also new to Gran Turismo in the Spec 3 update. A welcome update, I think, for the Ferrari guys. They've been driving that 458 for a little bit, so of course they're shot in the Dunlop tyres. You driven this thing yet, Tom?
I have, actually. I drove it at Yas Marina, obviously on Gran Turismo 7, not in the real world. I haven't got the bank balance for that. But yeah, brilliant car. Really excited to see what they're going to be able to do. Anyway, let's go down to Jules and Sasha ahead of race 1.
It is now nearly the time for the first race of the grand final for the Manufacturers' Cup for the Gran Turismo World Series 2025. Are you ready?
I am ready. さあ皆さん、いよいよレース1の準備ですけど、さあ始まりますけど、盛り上がっていけますか？どうですか？
Yeah.
All right, everybody's ready for the race 1.
I think they're very ready. Let's see it. In 3, 2, 1, let's go!
So then, race 1 for the Gran Turismo World Series. Let's see how this one is going to work out then.
drivers are lined up and ready to go. And you can see them here at this Daytona circuit. Pole position, as we know, for Mazda. Samuel Cardinal will line this one up from the head of the grid. Danny Solis in second position on the front row. Porsche, Sato lines up P3. Then you've got Nissan and Philo alongside in fourth position. The head of the third row is headed by Kai de Bruin and Team Toyota. And then Lexus and Harold Balson lining up P6. McLaren and Yamamoto are seventh on the grid. Then Donovan Parker and Ferrari. New car for them. They line up at P8. With Yasuki Goto heading Lamborghini Charger in ninth position. Trent Jeffrey also there for Honda in 10th place. Randall Hayward is P11 on the grid. And Mercedes AMG with Sasaki spearheading their challenge. So then, let's see how this one is going to work out. Mazda, as we know, leading the field. Rolling start here, Jimmy. In terms of strategy, not much to worry about, but how do you think this one's going to work out?
Well, I mean, strategy isn't really a thing here. It's just trying to put your car in the right place at the right time. This is a completely different type of race for the guys involved in this, and a lot of people are unfamiliar with the intricacies of oval racing. So I'm interested to see who will rise to that challenge and maybe who will falter.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you can see the drivers down there in front of the fans, and a massive sold-out audience here in Fukuoka for the Gran Turismo World Finals. It's going to be hugely exciting to see how it is going to work out. So let's see how this one goes then as we get ready to go racing Daytona Speedway here for Group 3 cars for the Manufacturers Cup. Race 1 is about to go green. Mazda will lead the field across the line as we get the Manufacturers Cup underway for the 2025 Gran Turismo World Series World Finals in Fukuoka. Mazda from Subaru, from Porsche, in towards the first corner. And of course, Mazda are punching the hole in the air for everybody else. Subaru there, you can see in the background already getting into the back of the Mazda as we come through the first corner. Here's Toyota, there's their view. They're all taking a low line through into turn 1. Now they're going to dart out of the slipstream on this long back straight. And let's see how this one is going to work out. So Kai de Bruin, we're on board with him in the slipstream here. 5th position for him so far. As we come through in towards the second part of this circuit. Is there going to be any difference in terms of the change of positions? Well, at the sharp end of the field, it's nose tail. You can see it's like a massive long snake as they break their way through, and Nissan get tagged. They get spun around by the end of the first lap. So Nissan from the top 5 positions are now right at the back of the field with a lot of work to do.
That's huge because you're not going to catch up from here. There's no way you can catch this pack when they're all in a train like this. So we'll go back on board with Team Mazda looking over the rear spoiler there. Subaru and Porsche just kind of pushing each other along. I'm interested to see if we're going to see any other groups try and form a second lane here, because right now at the bottom everyone's just sitting there hugging that yellow line. Very important to say you cannot cross that yellow line or it's an automatic penalty. Subaru there trying to push Team Mazda along. No one can really break away, so it's quite surprising to see Nissan go hard that early and get spun. I'd be interested to see a replay of that. So as we keep going, here is Team Mazda, Team Subaru, Team Porsche leading your standings right now. The front runners, Team BMW down in 9th place. Here's on board with Lexus, and there goes Team Porsche, one of our champion, and Team Subaru too. 2 of our championship contenders are around already. Team Mazda now out front on their own. Red flag, race has been stopped.
Yeah, well, the race direction we're talking about that, Jimmy, as a possibility. Restoration were talking about that as a possibility. They were saying that if there's a big incident like that, they could throw a red flag. That's exactly what has happened. A disaster for the drivers. A good opportunity, though, for some who were involved in that misfortune. And, you know, look, let's see how this is going to work out here. Because what will happen now is the grid won't be set from where they qualified. It'll be set from just before the red flag was thrown, essentially. They'll go back, I imagine, to the previous sector.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys don't have over racing experience, you know, and that kind of shows there at the start there. As Donovan Parker goes to check his Twitter. Why not? Get on there straight away. Other websites are available, and I'd encourage that. As we now wait for the race to be restarted. So, yeah, as you were saying, Tom, Team Nissan were involved in that. Team Porsche were involved in that. Subaru were involved in that. So, for these guys, it's a bit of a saving grace.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an opportunity for them to just sort of sit there and work out, you know, what their strategy is from this point on. You know, it's always difficult when you get a red flag situation like this, and you know, particularly difficult as well in the early stage of that race. No real chance for it to unfold, work out sort of who the outliers are, who's got the pace, who's got the potential. And you know, someone who will know a thing or two was Mick Zhao. We just saw him there on the left-hand side of the screen, former champion, of course, now very much involved with the GT World Series in another capacity. And I imagine he'll be giving you a few tips and tricks of the trade.
Tips: don't crash, especially at Daytona, because guys, it's a circle. It's flat out. You can do it. But there's Danny Solis. Interestingly, I thought maybe some of the American drivers have a bit of an advantage here, because these guys, you know, over racing much more prevalent in the US than it is pretty much anywhere else in the world. But awesome to have our live audience here as well, being treated to the first red flag of the day. There is Randall Hayward, Hollywood Hayward, as referred to as Jordan Greer, the GT Planet boss man. So, still watching, still waiting for our race to be reset. And, you know, I've taken part in a few over races myself in Sim. It's very trickier than it looks. It's all about trying to, it's a high-speed game of chess, basically. You're just trying to put the car in the right place at the right time, and try and find someone to work with to push to the front of the field. And I do wonder if these guys maybe discuss that a bit at the front of the race. Some of the teams thinking, you know, hey, listen, we're a bit further down the field. Let's work together and try and push through and get the top for race one.
Well, it hasn't worked for some of them, has it? Because they've ended up facing the wrong way.
Yeah, Team Nissan pulling the handbrake there. We advise against that.
Yeah, it's generally frowned upon. Obviously, Team Subaru caught up in strife there as well. You know, they were in some bother, and I wonder how this is going to play out for them from this point on. We need to work out what the starting order is going to be after this, because we're going to go back to a previous sector. You know, will they be able to line up in sort of 4th or 5th place or wherever they were, or will they be right at the very back of the field? They're at the back of the field. I mean, it's not an absolute disaster, but it's not ideal, is it?
So what? I mean, what? Red flag. So why did they end up throwing a red flag there, Tom? Because
so essentially, race direction had a conversation, because it's an oval race. There's a lot of incidents. There's a chance for things to go wrong, exactly like we've had there. They said that if there's a big pile up, if you're racing at Daytona in NASCAR or IndyCar or whatever it might happen to be, the likelihood is if you got an incident like that, big wreck, you'd end up with a red flag. So they're doing it exactly the same in real life, and a chance to go again, chance for the drivers just calm down a bit, and by their time. We haven't had many oval races in the GT World Series. Last time we did, I believe, was 2019. Long time ago, and remember how that went.
Yeah, we were saying this about there being chaos at our last race, but a reminder now of our starting order for our second go here at Daytona.
Yep, so here is how the grid is going to line up for part 2 then of the first race of the weekend then for the Manufacturers' Cup. Mazda and Cardinal on pole position. Subaru and Danny Solis head the second position of the grid. Then the second row is headed by Sato in P3. Toyota with Kai de Bruin in 4th place. Then Lexus and Harold Valson line up on P5. They have got Lamborghini's Yusuke Goto. He was right at the back of the field, if you remember, the first running of this one. So opportunity knocks for them. Ferrari down in 7th place. Honda are in 8th position with Trent Jeffrey alongside their BMW Randall Hayward in 9th position. The top 10 completed by Mercedes-AMG and Sasaki. Then you have got McLaren with Yamamoto. Let's see what progress they can make. Nissan down there, though, in 12th. Philo with a lot of work to do, considering that they were originally starting in 4th place. It has not gone well so far for Nissan. They were involved in that big crash that we saw, which brought out the red flag ultimately. So now down to 6 laps of action then, and let's see how this one is going to work out. Originally, it was a 10-lap race distance, now down to 6. So slightly reduced race distance. I'm sure opportunity knocks for some of the teams and some of the drivers, but it is going to be very interesting to see how this one is going to work out. And also for Subaru there, they can thank their lucky stars, really, because it did not work out at all.
No, I mean, like I said, getting sort of shunted to the back of the pack there is not ideal. But another go ahead now as we roll around, rolling start, as we come to the start-finish line. 6 laps at the Daytona Oval Circuit. High speeds, high risks here in the first race of the grand final of the Manufacturers' Cup. Will Team Mazda leave from the get-go? Will Team Subaru manage to not spin around this time? Let's find out.
Absolutely. There we go then. The restart is about to get underway for the first race of the Manufacturers' Cup for the 2025 GT World Finals. Mazda across the line first, with Subaru and Porsche slotting in behind in 2nd and 3rd place then, respectively. We come through and in towards the first turn. Now, we saw a lot of drivers going for the low line through the first time. They're already starting to bump draft through the first corner, and that's the problem when you get bump drafting in a situation like that through a corner. You can turn these cars around with almost your little finger because they're just on the ragged edge of adhesion. Now down the back straight. Now we'll see how effective this slipstream is proven to be. You can see Subaru and Mazda working together here, bumping one another as we come down this back straight. Is anybody going to pull out of the slipstream, go for a higher line in towards this left-hander? No opportunity moving there for Toyota. They go towards the sort of middle line of it, but you can see them moving around constantly at this point of the corner.
Yeah, it's hard that looks, and this is where the drivers could very easily tense up and just make those little mistakes. But it's very, very important to try and stay in your line and keep things consistent. The moment you sort of duck out, you have to hope someone goes with you, otherwise you're left there. And there goes Team Ferrari using the side draft. Do they have help there on the outside? We can't see at the moment. They do have hope. Team BMW, they go into the high side, trying to push and maybe form that second lane. They've got no other choice, BMW. There's no other way they're going to get through otherwise.
So points to the top 6, just to remind you, in this race. And in terms of the points as well, you get 6 points for the victory, all the way down to 1 point for 6th position. Now, Ferrari, they go for that higher line on the outside. They've got Lamborghini on the low side then here as we come down this back straight over the timing line. And let's see how it's going to work out then. So we begin lap 3. Mazda it is that leads. Subaru are in 2nd place. Then you've got Porsche in 3rd position, followed by Toyota, followed by Lexus. Over in towards the first turn we go. You can see bumping and barging in the sort of mid to latter pack as they sneak their way through. We're not seeing anyone going 2 by 2 through these first couple of corners. Down this back straight we go, though. Are we going to see positions beginning to change hands? There's not a lot of time now, of course. Original race distance 10 laps, now down to 6 laps. We're already at the halfway stage as we're on lap 3 here. At the moment, it's still Mazda, Subaru and Porsche who lead from the front.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start doing something different now and think about it. All I've seen really is the Team Ferrari. And then Lamborghini have touched Ferrari. They just went under the bottom line there. Car spins around, Ferrari out as well. No fault of their own. And then there were 10. So Ferrari, who was trying to invent something around the outside, in the end just got collected in something that was not their fault. But now Trent Jeffrey has another big one. Boys, sort it out. Come on.
Not good at all there for Trent Jeffrey. He's going to be bitterly disappointed for that, as will the entire Honda team. We're 2 by 2 in the background. Now we're starting to see the action taking place. But is it enough for Mazda and Subaru? Have they broken away into a lead? Not really, because it closes up at the end of the back straight. So we come through in towards the final turn on this Daytona Oval. Now we're going to start to see Subaru beginning to pull some punches. The problem with that Subaru is it's very quick in technical corners, on technical circuits. In a straight line, not necessarily so. So they have to sit in the slipstream here at this point and hope for a bump drop there for Porsche. Across the line we go. Penultimate lap now begins. It's still Mazda that leads, Subaru in 2nd, Porsche in 3rd, points down to 6th. Once again, just to remind you, at the moment it's Nissan who'll be the final point scorers.
Is anyone going to take a risk here? I mean, we've seen what's happened to Ferrari, Lamborghini and Honda. You take a risk, you get shunted. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do. They're all one a turn right now. Mazda in the fortuitous position of leading that pack, but you have to think you're just waiting. It doesn't matter where you are here, it matters where you are crossing the line and in the next lap. Right now, Mazda will be the victors, but I've got a feeling it's going to get a little bit more spicy before we get into this race.
Yeah, you get the sense that this is going to start to bubble up. What a disappointment, though, for Lamborghini and for Ferrari, especially for Ferrari with that brand new 296 car that they are competing with here this weekend. Let's hope that their 2nd and 3rd races, respectively, go quite well. We begin at the final lap of action, though, at the Daytona Tri-Oval. So Mazda from Subaru, from Porsche, as we come down in towards the first turn for the final time. Don't think anybody's going to think about a higher line through there, but they're certainly bumping one another going through and all sticking to quite a low line. But look at Porsche. They're coming to pressure from Toyota, and I wonder if the door is starting to open for Toyota there and whether they're going to try and pick their pocket for that final podium place to pick up more points. Down the back straight we go for one final time.
Someone's got to try something here. BMW been giving a penalty for colliding. It's bump drafting, is it not? I mean, we'll see if we get a replay of that later on, but it doesn't matter now. Final lap.
Unless it was the incident with Honda that we saw a couple of laps ago, maybe through the final corner we go, though. So Mazda it is that lead from Subaru, from Porsche. We'd run to the line in race 1 of the Manufacturers' Cup World Finals here, and it's going to be first blood to Mazda. Porsche in 3rd place, just behind Team Subaru. Toyota are in 4th, Lexus are 5th, and the final point position is occupied by Nissan ahead of McLaren and BMW, who managed to nick the final points place despite that 1 second penalty on the final lap of racing then here. And a great end to that one. Good job, though, from the eventual winners of Mazda and from Samuel Cardinal, the driver of that car, because he did an exceptionally brilliant drive to claim the victory there and just keep his head cool and calm under pressure when they were all bumping and barging and spinning off behind.
What a strange race that one there. I think the crowd were affecting the feeling there. I mean, I was waiting for a bit more action, but it never really came. I think anyone who tried to pull out just got spun. So, as you say, great start for Mazda and for Toyota with Danny Solis, who for Subaru with Danny Solis, who would probably say is the weaker driver of that pairing. And a second place is a really nice result for him. So good for their campaign.
Yeah, good damage limitation, especially given what happened last time out in Los Angeles. You know, Danny was a bit disappointed with it because obviously the race did not go their way at all. It was the first non-score they'd had of the GT World Series season. But yeah, managed to turn things around here for the first race. Let's have a look at some highlights then. So originally we began with a 10-lap race to the checkered flag, but there were a series of incidents which saw Nissan getting spun round. And then we saw Porsche as well as Subaru going for a spin as well. That brought out the red flag and restarts the race was underway and 6 laps.
Well, I don't understand. Why do you have a red flag for that, but not for the moves later on? That's the same amount of cars out there, 3-4 cars.
Hey, well, I'm not a race steward and I don't intend to be.
I'm asking you.
I'm quite happy to be neutral. But there you go. You saw the incident there between Lamborghini and Ferrari. Meanwhile, at the sharp end of the race, pretty static affair, to be completely honest with you, aside from for Honda. They got an absolute biff into the back. And we saw another driver going round as well. And we also saw BMW picking up a 1-second penalty, presumably for their part to play in that one. Ultimately, though, Mazda and Samuel Cardinal would come through to take the victory from Subaru in second position. Kylian Drummond, Danny Solis, who was behind the wheel of that car. And then third place for Porsche and for
Those of you, the team who win this race 1, you deserve this.
How you doing?
Indeed, doing all right.
Yeah, that was quite intense. How was that for you?
I mean, it wasn't normal. It was also an easy race, but thanks to Paul for the pole. It was simple to drive, so I don't really know what to say really about that one. Definitely fun one.
ストレートなね、レースで、今までとは違うんですけど、とにかくポールのおかげでずっといられたということなんですけれども、後ろから一回ね、外側に出てくるのもありましたけれども、その辺で後ろからね、相手が来るっていうのを恐れたりしなかったんでしょうか。So there were one attempt from the outside, from behind, weren't you worried? People, the other cars coming from behind, from the outside, to overtake, to attempt to overtake.
Honestly, no. The inside line works a lot better. Yeah. The inside line is a lot better. The outside was real not to worry. But it is what it is. So
very casual.
Yeah.
Very casual.
本当落ち着いてますけど、いや全然大丈夫。外側の方が大変なんで内側にいれば大丈夫だと思いますって言ってますけどね。He's so down to earth.
Very down to earth. So, any advice for Hull? We're gonna just
keep the position. Yeah, keep the position and don't crash. It's gonna be all right. I think we are in a real decent position for the titles, so we take those indeed.
はい、もうね、タイトルに向けてはいい場所にいると思うんで、とにかくトラックポジションを失わないことが大事だというチームメイトへのアドバイスでした。Right?
Good advice for life. Drive fast, don't crash, preferably.
Exactly.
It's optional.
はい、人生経験と一緒ですね。人生の教え、早く走ってそして、クラッシュしないことということですけどもね、いいアドバイスでした。All right, that's the winner of race 1. Thank you and congratulations.
Yeah, big congrats. Let's give me a round of applause.
おめでとうございます。大きな拍手をお送りください。
All right, let's throw it back up to Tom and Jimmy.
Sasha there as well. So let's have a look at the World Series points rankings then. So points down to 10th place in that race. And of course, more points on offer here as well. So you can see there Mazda taking the spoils. They now lead the standings from Subaru in second position. Well, they're tied on points there at the top as well, as you can see. Porsche now up into third place at the expense of Toyota as well. So it's getting pretty frantic there in the certainly the first half of the table.
Yeah, look how brutal that was for BMW too. They were tied with points to Subaru start of this, and now they're down in 5th, 9 points behind. But still 2 or 3 more races, I should say, including the grand final, yet to go. So still all to play for, but definitely a blow for the German brand.
Yeah, and of course that grand final is double points, as we know. So plenty on offer for the drivers and for the teams. But at the moment, it's advantage to Team Mazda. Subaru, as we say, still very much there in second position. And Porsche slowly starting to creep up with that 3rd place finish. Now getting themselves ahead of Toyota for that top 3 position. Keep an eye out for BMW, for Nissan as well. I have to say, quite impressed with Nissan's recovery in that race. Let's not forget, they were right at the very back of the field. They managed to part the seas, as it were, for Philo, and got himself up into 6th place at the end of that one. You can see Samuel Cardinal celebrating at the end of that. He knows that his hard work at this first phase of the event is done, but there's still plenty of time for things to change. Race 2 is coming up. We are, of course, in Fukuoka, at the home of one of Polyphony Digital's 4 studios. And we had a chance to have a look around the studio yesterday, JB. What a wonderful place.
That's a little treat. I tried to see if I can get hold of any goodies there, but the security is really good. I was tackled at the door. But no, amazing place to get an insight into what goes on behind the scenes here, of course, at GT. But yeah, I think our competitors enjoyed it too.
Absolutely, yeah. And race 2 as well, we know that's going to be a pretty interesting, pretty exciting affair. And of course, a different set of circumstances as well. I have to say, that first race that we had, I was expecting a bit more at the sharp end of this one. But now we move over to the Autopolis International Racing Course, of course, in Group 3 cars. But as you can see, intermediate and heavy wet tyres, 5 laps as well. So not a particularly long race, this one. The grid order is reflected by the race results. That's how it's defined. But, you know, wet conditions on a very technical and tight circuit with a different set of drivers as well. I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we see here some drivers are the best foot forward. A lot of cases here. Paul Ura, Miyazona, Serrano involved here as well for the top 3 drivers. But of course, having the mixed conditions means that different cars are going to do better in different circumstances. We tend to say that the mid-engine cars can be a bit more sketchy with that, with the weight towards the rear of the car. But front engine cars like this Mazda RX Vision, for example, 10 years old this is.
Yeah, I know.
When did that happen?
I know, because the thing is, it looks like it was, you know, developed 10 minutes ago. It's so modern looking, and it's such a unique sounding car. 439 horsepower, front engine, rear wheel drive, and as you say, maybe a bit more stable in conditions such as this. So that might prove to be a beneficiary for Mazda. And given the fact that they're now joint points leaders with Subaru, who's also got a front engine rear wheel drive car, let's see whether they can, you know, bring that fight to the sharp end.
Yeah, and you've got Paul Ura behind the wheel. You know, someone who's incredibly experienced. And look at this. The amount of talent in this image is far beyond what my small brain can comprehend. You've got Jose Serrano, leader currently of the Nations Cup, Paul Ura, second in the Nations Cup, and a 4 billion time champion to give him his own in the middle.
Yeah, it's some proper royalty we've got in the GT World Series. And in terms of Paul Ura, of course, we know that he got himself onto pole position for Mazda last time out as well in qualifying. Anyway, let's go down to Jules and Sasha ahead of race 2.
さあ、レース間もなくということになりますが、Everybody's ready for race 2。皆さん、レース2はこの後も楽しんでいきましょう。Fukuoka is ready.
I don't know if I'm ready, but it's too late, Sasha.
Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
I am ready. Let's go. Race 2 is right around the corner.
Sure.
So then, over to the second race of the Manufacturers' Cup, Autopolis in the wet. And Mazda took first blood a few moments ago in the first race of the weekend. Can they convert that into a second win and extend the lead in the points championship? Well, it's Paul Ura who will drive for them in this second race. Takuma Miyazono will be with Subaru on the front row of the grid. Then you've got Jose Serrano for Porsche in P3. Morimoto for Toyota lines up in 4th position ahead of Lexus and Kanata Kawakami in P5. Of course, former double champions. Then Nissan, also former Manufacturers' Cup champions, lining up P6. Arthur Mosso is 7th on the grid, and BMW with Thomas Laboutelet lining up in P8. Mercedes-AMG and Lucas Bonelli lining up in 9th position. And P10 is Honda with Sugimura. 11th place, Lamborghini and Alifa in that final row of the grid with João Jesus for Ferrari. A lot of work for both Lamborghini and Ferrari to do, and not a lot of time to do it in here, Jimmy, because it's only a 5-lapper.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tricky for the guys here because they're going to have to try and experiment with grip levels with something they've not had the chance to do so yet. I mean, Autopolis is a tricky circuit. the best of times. Add into the fact now that your wet conditions are spray from the car in front of you lower down the field. I mean, Paul Ura's in pole position in two ways, really. One, he's literally there, and two, he hasn't got that spray to deal with, so he gets a much easier job going down to T1 for the first time. But interesting to see which cars and which teams really make the most of these conditions.
Well, just a reminder, points, of course, awarded down to 10th place in this race. 12 points on offer for the victor, 10 points for second, 8 points down to third, and then, of course, as we know, points all the way down to P10, and double points for the grand final. In terms of double points, a little bit more than that, actually, because it's 24 points in total for the victory. But more on that a little bit later. Let's get ready, though, to go for race 2 of the Manufacturers' Cup here in Fukuoka. It's time to go racing at the Autopolis Raceway with Mazda across the line first from Subaru, from Porsche, as we come in towards that first corner in the heavy wet conditions. So wet tyres available for the drivers. No need to worry about any pit stops in this race. It's not really going to be set to dry out, but who's going to be able to master these conditions in the wet? So Subaru there in second position with Porsche, who are in P3. And are we going to see Porsche getting an early advantage here on Subaru? Well, it certainly looks like it. They're going for the outside line here, and they're going to go sweeping around the outside. Are they going to make that move stick? Absolutely brilliant there for Porsche and for Sato, getting the better of Subaru and for Takuma Miyazono, who drops himself down into third place, as we see Nissan versus Toyota for fourth place in the background as well.
Yeah, Nissan, they're chucking the car in and knocking Toyota out of the way. So I'm not sure the stewards are going to enjoy that one, but a robust move there from the fourth place team. Currently on board with Takuma Miyazono, looking at the back of the Porsche, went round the outside of him there. It just goes to show that different lines work in these wet conditions. Driving on the rubbered up dry line is a good way to slide wide, so you've got to try and avoid that as Team Toyota making their way back by Nissan. McLaren in the background too, trying to wind their way through as Nissan scrambles for traction and corner exit here. Treacherous conditions for these drivers, and that spray as well really makes things difficult.
Yeah, it certainly does, coming down to the bottom of the circuit. Look at the advantage that Mazda have already built up, about half a second or so. Doesn't sound like a particularly huge amount, but it is quite significant, especially at this early stage of the race. Looking here at Morimoto then in the Toyota, Nissan very close behind Hiroshi Okamoto, the two Japanese drivers in the two Japanese manufacturer cars in fourth and fifth place there, respectively. Can they make an impact here on this race through the left-hander and then through this long, lazy right-hander, which completes the lap? And you can see the difference in lines there. Nissan trying to go for the inside line. Is it going to work on Toyota? Well, they've got track position. It's just going to sort of converge as they come through the left-hander. They're going to be shuffled to the curb on the outside, and Toyota might be able to pick the advantage back between them. They bang against one another as we come down the start-finish straight, but Toyota then into fourth. Nissan still sit there in P5.
Yeah, all this squabbling just lets the top three get away though. Nissan, big launch, they turn Toyota off into the corner pocket, goes Team Toyota into the gravel trap and down to last place. What a shame, because these guys were looking good in the standings. That's going to be huge for them there. You can see the teammates not happy with that whatsoever. Can't really blame them there. For sure, a penalty for Team Nissan.
No doubt about it. Stewards are going to be looking into that one, but Morimoto will be bitterly disappointed with that, as will the whole Team Toyota outfit. And, well, Nissan, as you say, I imagine that Okamoto is going to be facing some kind of sanction for that incident. Meanwhile, Mazda it is that lead the way. Let's have another look at it. So you can see here, Toyota in fourth place, Nissan going for that lunge on the inside. The gap is there, but unfortunately, it sort of two doesn't go into one. And, well, you see what happens. Toyota straight to the scene of the accident.
Yeah, the gap was there until it wasn't. I think that was Karatsa driving the car there. So he ain't going to be happy with that one. But back in the front of the field, Paul Ura doing a good job fending off the attacks of the Team Porsche there. Who's at the wheel of that one, Tom? Is it Serrano's at the wheel of that right now? We know how fast Serrano is. Sorry, it's
Serrano is at the wheel of that one, yeah. Beg your pardon.
Well, there he is. No, it definitely is Serrano. But yeah, we know how quick he is. Very strong team for Team Porsche. You know, Angel coming in and saying we've got a chance here. They really do. If they keep up these performances, getting by Team Mazda here will help that happen, because right now they're looking very, very quick.
Well, at the moment, they're even on points, let's not forget. Both on 22 points. Look at the sliding there for Serrano. He's just trying to find the limits of grip, isn't he? Just exploring a little bit beyond that. But they're tied on points. So whoever finishes ahead in this race is going to gain a bit more of an advantage than the other. So there's plenty of opportunity and a good incentive there as well. 4 points on offer here in these World Finals. You can hear the rain battering against the windscreen as they come down the start-finish straight. So lap 3 out of 5 we are on. We come across the timing line then here. And sort of the three outliers at the moment, Mazda, Porsche and Subaru, they've got a 2-second advantage now over Nissan, who sit there in fourth position.
So we just, that's down in part to the contact earlier on, but Porsche looking very aggressive, looking to make a move maybe on Team Mazda. They like the outside move here, does Serrano. Will he get it on Paul Ura? He does. Round the outside goes Jose Serrano for Team Porsche, passing his teammate, his Spanish teammate there, Paul Ura in the Mazda. Man, these guys really are going at it, aren't they? And in the back there, Takuma Miyazono trying to follow his way through. These top three cars giving us a hell of a show.
This circuit really does suit the Subaru there in third place as well. So let's keep an eye out and see what Miyazono is going to be able to do as they make their way through. And now the circuit begins to open up a little bit in this sort of mid-section of it. We flick through this right-hander, and this is a bit of an Achilles heel for Subaru. It's a very good car in technical parts of the track. On the longer straight, not so good because it didn't have the same straight line speed. This is Lexus versus Lamborghini down to the first corner. Oh, Mercedes and BMW, and Lamborghini just come careering into the side of them. So Lamborghini really suffering some misfortune in this race. And Gotto, the aggressor in that one, unfortunately, I think there's going to be more penalties coming their way.
There's a lot of this going on. It's really hard to pick your braking zone down there. Unfortunately, if you're on the outside ahead of them, you kind of act as the brake. And of course, that'll be looked into by our stewards as well. On board now with Miyazono in the Subaru, really working the wheel of this Subaru BRZ. Almost run into the back of the Mazda Lamborghini. Unsurprisingly, they're slapped with a 2-second penalty. So, yeah, that's what you get for shunting a car off. Lamborghini, that'll hurt them. Well, to be honest, they're 7th now, but 2 seconds to put down to about where AMG is. Now, here's where we see the weakness of this Subaru. Runs out of puff on the straights, but very light, very agile. In that draft, actually, wasn't falling back too much.
No, okay, the slip through at the moment. Let's see whether Miyazono can use that to his advantage coming down towards the first corner. Mercedes and BMW under investigation there as well. Still nothing on Nissan and the contact that we saw towards that first corner as to whether they're going to be picking up a penalty for their part in the incident. BMW look like they're out of this one, though, as Laboutelet has not come across the line in a fair amount of time. We come through this left-hander, though. We're now on the penultimate lap of racing here. This is a favourite overtaking spot that we've seen over the course of this one. And now are we going to start to see Miyazono coming through? There is BMW, there is Laboutelet, who clearly looks to be suffering from what appears to be some kind of a technical problem, being stranded on the side of the circuit. But I have to say, Jimmy, the rain intensity looks to have decreased somewhat in the sort of latter stages of this race. I don't think the circuit's going to dry up significantly, but it's definitely a bit less heavier in terms of the rainfall than it was a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, I should say, Tom, I think it's not really going to dry so much towards the end of the race. There is really a straight fight between these guys. You can see going into this hairpin there, the lock that Paul Ura and that Mazda have, just crossing the wheel over, trying to get some grip out of those front tyres, just scrubbing across. And it's been a great race from Jose Serrano and that Porsche, really showing what that car can do in these conditions and flirting with danger, touching those curves in the wet, always a little bit scary. But not for these guys, proper pros here, as we watch Miyazono again. This is where this car is strong, this Subaru. Really quick for these last couple of corners, but what can we do about it?
Yeah, that is the question. Lamborghini and Ferrari exchanging positions there. Mercedes picking up a penalty for their part in the collision, presumably with BMW. On board we ride, though, with Takuma Miyazono. We come through the left-hander in towards the final two corners of this circuit to begin the last lap of racing. And Porsche and Serrano now just beginning to build a little bit of a cushion, actually, over Mazda and Subaru. And I wonder if that might just be enough for them to not come under any real threat on this final lap, which we now begin with Porsche leading from Mazda, from Subaru. That's your top three.
Yeah, a little wiggle there from Miyazono, so that's really going to hurt him going on to this lap. So, last lap of the second race here at Fukuoka. Team Porsche leading by 6/10 from Team Mazda. Subaru in third place. We're on board now at Miyazono. Can he invent something here? Anything that he can do? It's a bit far back, I think, to have any sort of lunge here. And he's got a big strength to contend with, but we know this car doesn't really do too well with. But he's really fast, Miyazono. He can really make this thing work if he can just find the line. Paul Ura also trying to get back onto the rear spoiler on the Porsche, but we have to say that Serrano's just looks in a league of his own here.
Yeah, first sector, Ura was actually a little bit quicker by a few tenths of a second over Serrano. So if he can continue building that advantage into the final sector of this one and continue that same sort of trajectory, there's a good opportunity for a possible lunge in the final few stages of this one. So Mazda and Subaru were tied on points at the start of this race. If the checker flag finishes as it is now, it'll be Mazda with a 2-point advantage going into the penultimate race of the season in the Manufacturers' Cup, with Porsche there in third position, but very close indeed with just just 3 points separating those three teams.
Yeah, so bring Porsche right back into it. And you know what Galen Stroza was saying at the start of this? Like, I fancy this. I reckon we can do this, Team Porsche. We can be champions. If we could just get a good couple of races, this will be ideal for them. Only a few more corners separate Porsche and Jose Serrano from a win here in race 2.
You're again a tenth of a second faster, gap down to just under half a second now. So it just takes that one mistake from Jose Serrano at the sharp end of this one. One slip of the tyres, one slide into the corners under braking, and that could present the opportunity that Paul Ura and Mazda are looking for a dive. We come through into that final turn though, and unless we see a mistake from Jose Serrano, it is going to be Porsche that will come through to take the checkered flag. Out of the final corner we go, and across the line, Porsche win race 2 from Mazda and from Subaru. Serrano takes victory from his compatriot Paul Ura. Miyazono on the podium there in third position, which means that we've now got 3 manufacturers separated by just 3 points at the sharp end of this one, with 2 races to go at the checkered flag. Ferrari versus Lamborghini to the line there as well, was very close for 7th place. João Jesus just getting the better of Lamborghini's Alfa Lea. But what a race from Paul Ura and from Jose Serrano. Ultimately, a very calm and controlled race from Serrano. Once he got his way through around the outside for the race lead, he just never looked like he was bothered again.
About how close was that? Less than 2 tenths at the end there. So definitely chased home was Jose Serrano by his compatriot Paul Ura. But you'll see it now why we've had such Spanish domination this year. These guys just incredibly fast, and for Team Porsche, that's huge. That really puts them properly in contention now. We've got 3 teams starting to pull away from the rest: Mazda, Subaru, and Porsche, with only 2 more races left this year.
Yep, so 32 points now for Mazda, 30 points for Subaru, and 29 points for Porsche. They're your sort of outliers, really. Of course, another opportunity for 12 points on offer in this third race. And then we go up to double points for that for the grand final as well. So let's see how that one is going to work out. Well, time for reflection after that second race. Wet conditions at the Autopolis Raceway, and Mazda initially led this one from Subaru, from Porsche, but Serrano was not taking things lying down, even on the opening lap on cold tyres. He was around the outside of Subaru for second place. Miyazono didn't really know which way he was going and which way he came from. We saw some drama though between Toyota and between Nissan. They had a bit of hip and shoulder going through the final sector, and that ultimately set them on a trajectory for contact. Going down towards the first corner, Toyota versus Nissan. Nissan diving to the inside line. Ultimately, it sent Toyota into the gravel.
I didn't even see an investigation for this, so I have to assume maybe there wasn't contact. Maybe the Toyota just got on the brakes, but there definitely was contact here. Hits the Lamborghini, getting it all wrong, hitting the BMW into the Mercedes. The Mercedes there, and Benelli just an unfortunate victim in all of that.
Yeah, disappointing there for them. Not disappointing though for Jose Serrano. Look at this, an absolute worldie of a move on the Mazda of Paul Ura. Just sent it around the outside like they were standing still, really. Got his way through and into the race lead. Nothing that Paul Ura was able to do at this point. He did try and close up and did, in fact, make a dent into that race lead in the closing stages of it, but ultimately it was not enough to depose Serrano of victory for the Porsche team here tonight in the Manufacturers' Cup.
Vamos! There you go.
Great job from Jose Serrano. Good job from Paul Ura. 3 teams now separated by 3 points at the top end of the order. Let's just remind you of the results. So Porsche taking victory with Serrano ahead of Paul Ura's Mazda. Miyazono in third place ahead of a quiet race, actually, at the end for Okimoto. Not at the start of it, but at the end of it, not really much to mention for them in fourth position. Just ahead of Artemosso's McLaren and Kanata Kawakami in sixth place. Points, of course, all the way down to 10th place. 1 DNF in that one was Thomas Labouchelet, who failed to take the checkered flag.
And that pretty much puts BMW out of it. You know, they were such a strong contender coming into this this round here at Fukuoka, but with that DNF, no points scored, and a poor race won, that's probably them out of it.
Absolutely. Well, let's then go down and catch up with the winner from that one, Jose Serrano for the Porsche team. They take victory in the second race of the evening.
Yes, we are joined by race 2 winner Jose Serrano. Hi, how are you doing? You seem really casual about that. Everyone's very casual today, or maybe it's just all inside. I don't know.
Well, みんな落ち着いてるね。まあねっていう感じですけど。Well,
so yeah, I so happy with the win again, and yeah, so happy with you here in the interview.
Oh. I'm not part of the prize, but thanks.
勝てて嬉しいのとね、インタビューされて嬉しいよって言われて、いや、商品の一つでは私はないんだけれどもねって言ってますけども、ね、オーバーテイクがすごかったんですけど、雨の中のオーバーテイク、リスクもあったと思うんですが、so there was a lot of risk, overtaking in the rain, but you went there.
Yeah, you managed to do it.
I don't know how I could, but I like the rain a lot, so I was very confident with the rain and also with the Porsche, so it's a perfect combo for me. So happy.
雨は実はね、すごく自信があって好きなんですね。雨のレースも好きだし、ポルシェも好きなので、すごく自信があったんですよという。I'm very confident and calm man.
Yes. So I actually have a question, which is, when it's you and Paul, like, is there a certain amount of you that is like a little bit less aggressive because it's Paul?
I think so.
Like, like you'd maybe be riskier with someone else.
Well, I risk with all drivers, but with Paul is a little bit less.
A little bit less. He was doing you a favor, but still overtook you. He wasn't even trying.
ポールにいるときってやっぱりちょっと落ち着いてるのっていうふうに言ったら、まあリスクをそれほど取らなくていいんでね、前後ろにいるよりはポールの方がちょっとリスクがないかなというふうに言ってますけどね。Right.
Well, look, we'll let you go and have a sit down. Congratulations. Please give a big round of applause for Jose Serrano.
大きな拍手をお送りください。ホセ・セラーノ選手です。
Yeah, back up to you, Tom and Julie.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Jules. Thanks to Sasha as well. Interesting, the two Spaniards are working together a little bit, maybe.
Collusion in my esports event. How dare they? It's of course, these guys work together, so they're definitely going to race differently. Here are your standings then, and a reminder, of course, look how tight it is at the top. 3 points separating our top 3 teams with double points. That's basically nothing.
No.
But Nissan are there. Look. There's a chance still, Tom.
There is a chance. I mean, look, what, you've got 12 points on offer for the victory, points down to 10th place, double points on offer for the grand final. It's still all to play for here. Anything can happen in the GT World Series, and to be honest, it usually does. I will say one thing, though, and I know I don't want to count this too soon, but we've never had a non-Japanese winner of the Manufacturers' Cup in the entire time that we've been doing this, believe it or not. Could Porsche be the first one to take that mantle here tonight?
Yeah, no pressure, Porsche, if you heard that, by the way. Zero pressure, but of course, the home crowd there, I'm sure, rooting for Team Mazda, Team Subaru, and any other of our Japanese brands here today.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see for BMW, difficult time, though, for them, really. First race didn't particularly get off to a brilliant start, and you're like, okay, well, maybe it could get a little bit better. Race 2, disaster.
Again, 3 events worth of points. They came into this event second, and all there's 2 races here in the finals. And I say they're out of it. I mean, they are still there. It is still mathematical to win, but that's really not going to help them there at all, being down 7.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, anyway, let's go down to Jules and Sasha once again and catch up with former GT champion and also Super Formula race winner, Igor Fraga.
Well, yes. Hello, everybody. You having fun? Yeah, good time? Love that. Now, obviously, we've seen some pretty exceptional racing already today, but we thought we'd bring out someone else who's a little bit exceptional. So please, give a huge Gran Turismo welcome to Igor Fraga! Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm really good. I'm so happy to be in the Gran Turismo World Finals here. I mean, I've been racing here for 6 years or more.
Yeah.
So yeah, even if I'm not competing here, it's always a pleasure to be in these events.
You're in an extra good mood at the moment, and why is that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the last round of the Super Formula event, was able to achieve my very first victory there, being in the rookie season as well. So yeah, I'm super happy to be able to come here like that.
I mean, it's really impressive. You must be so happy. But
Yeah.
I want to say, you might have to translate a little bit this
Yeah,
bit. But do you remember maybe February of March this year? I made a bet with you.
Yeah, with the Ayrton Senna jumper, right? Yeah.
You can explain.
Yeah, so まあジュリアさんと駆けしたんですけど、僕が優勝したらアイルトン・セナのジャンパーを僕がもらえるっていう、はい。それで
It's my favorite jumper, and I bet him if he got a podium in Super Formula that I would give it to him.
本当は表彰台でもらえるっていうところだったんですけど、茂木の第3戦でもう達成しちゃって、なんかつまんないなみたいなことを言ってましたね。
But like a month later, he gets a podium, and I'm like, what? My favorite jumper.
Yes, but yeah, I'm super happy. I think that the season also went really well. I think.
No, you can stop talking about Super Formula because you know what? We've got the jumper. That's way more important.
Oh, thank you.
This, you have to show them the greatest jumper in the world. Just take it off. Here we go. This is my favorite jumper. I'm very sad. Here we go. I'll take it. It is the best jumper in the world. Turn it around. Turn it around. So I know it's maybe because of your driving, but I think it was because of me. You
and
won.
even went to the McLaren, right, with the proper car.
This has been aura farmed by being laid over Ayrton Senna's Formula One car for you. So this is
この
full
ジャン
of
パー
manner.
もジュリアさんがマクラーレンの仕事に行った時にマクラーレンの本部になんか連れて行ったみたいで、アイルトン・セナの車の付近にもなんか置かれたそうで、はい、そういうなんかパワーがあるものらしいです。はい。
You're going to have to win double this year now for this, but let's give him a huge round of applause. It's Igor Fraga!
Thank you so much.
Let's throw it up to Tom and Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jules. Thanks to Igor Fraga. What a lovely, wholesome moment that is. I'm going to do the same by, I don't know, put my GT shirt over a Dacia Sandero for you or something like that. See if that's aura farming in the same way.
Punishment. Also, I haven't seen his move round T1. That was filth. Go on, Igor. I love a bit of that. Amazing.
It was brutal, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, well, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, though, for the third race of the Manufacturers' Cup. Just getting back to, action that's happening here tonight. So Sardinia Road Track A, Group 3 cars, of course, racing medium tyres, 7 laps for this one, and, of course, a new set of drivers for this. Now, as you can see here, Jimmy, a pretty fast track at some points, but a lot of heavy braking zones as well.
It's been a while since we've been to Sardinia. I mean, that second to last corner is one of the sort of bigger overtaking zones there, but it's actually quite hard to get by around here, outside of the slipstream path. So, in Astroza, in the car for Team Porsche, Kokuben, of course, ex-champion as well, in Team Mazda, and Kilian Drumont for Team Super. Man, there are so many good drivers in this event.
My hot pick for this one, Nikolai Sejak in the Nissan.
Yeah.
He has been really quick when we've seen him in the GT World Series up until now. And he just seems to have something about him. If he's going to be the disruptor in that one, I would not be surprised.
It seems to be on the up, doesn't it? Like, I mean, every time we see him, he's just a little bit quicker. He really has the handling of that GTR. So definitely one to watch. And again, Nissan, currently 4th in the standings. One to watch,
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. There may be a few points behind. Anything can happen, and it can change very quickly. Here's a look at the Toyota GR Supra Racing concept. You can see a car that would be competing in the real world if it actually existed, but it doesn't exist in the real world. It does here, though, in the world of Gran Turismo. What a car this is. We absolutely love it. The drivers love it, and it has been a very quick car, and of course, a former champion car in the Manufacturers' Cup.
Yeah, twice. So it's very, very quick in 2019 and 2021. You can see by the stickers on the side of the car there as well. Shame we didn't make this in real life, to be honest. I would love to have seen that flapping around the Nürburgring, but probably better for me if we didn't. Here are 3 of, I guess, our star drivers.
Top 3 teams, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, Angel's been around for a very long time, of course. Very quick driver winner in LA for Team Porsche. Kokuben, the first event I think it was in Tokyo in 2018. He won that a long, long time ago now, getting old. And Kilian Drumont, very, very fast Frenchman.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Inestrosa, he actually won in Tokyo in 2019 for Porsche, if you remember that one as well.
Porsche.
Long time ago, that now as well. So, yeah, very excited to see what's going to happen here as we get ready to go racing. The third race of the evening is about to get underway for the Manufacturers' Cup.
Yes, before we get into the race, we've spotted the cutest thing ever.
Exactly. とっても可愛い人たち見つけました。こんにちは。楽しんでますか？楽しんでますか？楽しんでますか？楽しんでますか？
Are you ready? Yay!
Race 3 about to get underway for the Manufacturers' Cup, then here for the Gran Turismo World Finals, and here is how the grid lines up. Top 3 places occupied by the top 3 teams in the standings. Porsche with the most to gain in this one. They line up in pole position, an opportunity for them to score 12 points. Angela Nestroza heading their charge. Mazda in second place. Ryota Cockburn is behind the wheel for that team with Subaru, and Kilian Drumont in third place. Fourth position, Mikołaj Sejak in the Nissan. Could he be the disruptor here today with McLaren's Jay Murphy in fifth position? Lexus and Giorgio Mangano lining up P6 on the grid, and then Ferrari's Jun Hoshima is in seventh place. Alongside them is Lamborghini, and for Simon Rosenberger, you've got Honda's Valerio Gallo. 10th place, Mercedes-AMG and Noah Lanuza, the Frenchman. He was unlucky in LA, if you remember, ended up on the deck at one point. Adriano Carrazza lines up P11, and BMW Seiya Suzuki is in 12th position on the grid. So medium tyres then, 7 laps here at this Sardinia circuit. Jimmy, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I can see some sort of move down at T1. It's a long drive down to there. We do have a rolling start, which does tend to spread the field out a little bit, but I think it's long enough that you can Super match is going to start coming into play. And someone like Coca maybe might have a fancier move from T1. I mean, like, to be honest, between the top 3, they kind of need to keep it clean. That's what they're thinking now, because any mistake here puts them on the back foot for that grand final.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You've got to really minimise the mistakes, especially at this critical juncture. As you get later on, of course, into the evening's worth of races, there's fewer opportunities to right any of the wrong. So one mistake here could be absolutely critical. You guarantee these teams, these drivers, they're going to be leaving nothing on the table here tonight as the crowd awaits. Sold out crowd here in Fukuoka this weekend. And they'll be keen to see what is going to happen and who, of course, is going to claim the crown of the Manufacturers' Cup. Let's get ready to go racing. Race 3, then, is underway here in the Manufacturers' Cup at the Sardinia Road Circuit. Porsche leading Mazda, leading Subaru as they come down in towards the first corner. Don't think we'll see any dive bombs down in towards turn 1, but we will see a pull out of the slipstream there for Mazda as well as Subaru coming under pressure as well. No moves being made in towards that first turn as expected, but around the sort of second part of this opening lap, we should start to see drivers who are getting their elbows out as they start getting some heat into the tyres and the brakes, crucially.
Yeah, so right now, Porsche lead from Mazda, lead from Subaru, lead from Nissan behind. Sajak behind the wheel at Nissan. We said he's one to watch, so we'll see what he can do during this race. And again, this track's a lot of heavy acceleration zones. That Subaru's going to suffer a little bit here, I think, as they defend there from Mazda, defend from Team Subaru. Right now, not much change as everyone's keeping it nice and clean on lap 1 here. A stark contrast to our first race at Daytona. On board now with that GTR and Sajak.
Yeah, Sejak knows a thing or two about how to play these races calm and cool. You can see Mazda there just putting some pressure on Porsche at the sharp end of this one, coming down towards the left-hander. In the mirror there, you can see also Lexus as well. Behind the wheel of that is Giorgio Mangano at the moment. Of course, Lexus former champions as well in the Manufacturers' Cup. Let's see whether they can spring a few surprises with McLaren very close in tow through the sweeping left and right-hander before we come in towards the next big braking zone on this first lap into this left-hander. Lamborghini and Mercedes under investigation for a collision then on this opening lap. Let's see whether they've been deemed to be the aggressor or the innocent party.
Yeah, Gallo there making a move on the Ferrari drive up to P7. Goes to Valerio Gallo, past champion, Nations Cup champion. Honda not looking so strong though this time out, but I'm sure looking to try and make as best as he can of the situation. Meanwhile, we're with Nissan and Sajak going down towards T1. Big overspeed on the Subaru that goes defensive. Drumont there keeping the car just on the line. Very nice defensive driving there, but you can get the impression that Sajak they can smell blood in the water.
Yeah, certainly can. Mercedes with a 1-second penalty then for their part in the collision with Lamborghini on that opening lap. So let's work out and pick the bones out of that one as we continue on in this race. We come through the left and the right-hander. This is Mikołaj Sejak, who we ride on board with the Polish driver, who, despite being Polish in terms of nationality, actually has a very sort of thick northern accent, which catches you off guard a little bit. And I was down chatting to him in the World Series events over the course of this year. He's a young lad, bright head on his shoulders and mature head on his shoulders, especially when it comes to racecraft as well. So let's see whether we can get that Nissan up into the podium positions and be the disruptor in this race. We come through in towards the left-hander. I have to say, they're keeping it remarkably calm and tidy. Jimmy, as we get into this point now of the evening where we're race 3, we're the last chance before we go in towards the double points, are we going to see the teams at the front maybe minimising the risks a bit more?
Yeah, you think so, but that of course opens up to people behind them. I mean, a great example right now is Valerio Gallo moving through the field up to P6 now. He's already on the back of the McLaren in front, so this guy is not hanging around. And as you see now, Sejak is all over the back of the Subaru. Subaru really fast. It's a Mazda mistake there from Mazda and Kokubun. And now that has just given the cars behind an easy run down towards T1 and Porsche with Stroza at the wheel, a bit of breathing room. So here we go. Then down towards T1. We're on board with Sejak, looking at the back of that BRZ there, struggling in the straight line. It's now the time we'll see the Polish driver strike. Looks at the outside line, not quite close enough to anything there. But, well, these guys really getting bunched up now. You were saying they're taking it easy, so I'm not sure they are.
The defensive line there for Stroza. I think he got a poor run off the final corner, which compromised him down into turn 1. The problem is, though, what he did was it bottlenecked up. It sort of concertinaed up through that first turn. And you can see how close they are now running nose to tail. I mean, it was close going into there, but it's certainly closer now as we come in through this first sector.
Stroza actually a great run off the last corner. That Mazda's just an absolute bullet in a straight line. And meanwhile, a bit further down the field. So here is a replay.
Oh, this is what happened with Mercedes and Lamborghini on the opening lap.
Oh,
so
great move.
Yeah, if you forget where the brake pedal is, brilliant.
Which he did, unfortunately. So yeah, I can understand the penalty there. But yeah, so yeah, Stroza's got a weird dynamic here where he's really quick in mid-corner with his Porsche, but it seems to up against that Mazda, which again a bit of a bullet. It's not sorry, just in the background there. Subaru having to defend, and then in its place goes up the inside of the Mazda. The Mazda caught napping. So Subaru and Drumont there just absolutely picking the pocket of Kokubun down 2 places. Sejak also up a place, up into P3. Oh, and now they're side by side as Gallo tries to get involved as well.
Yeah, this is now all starting to kick off, isn't it? We're sort of getting towards the mid stages of this race. And all the while they start squabbling, that is music to the ears of Angel Stroza. He's leading the race. Half a second is the advantage. If they continue battling like this, it will give them a chance to break away.
This is ideal, really, because the Subaru is not fast down the straight, so it's now going to be the cork in the bottle for the cars behind. So that, as you say, sort of gives Stroza a little bit of breathing room. On board for the Mazda. Look at the speed of this thing down the straight in the draft. Nissan, they're both going to try and get by the Subaru. Are they going to go 3 wide? Not quite. They're thinking about it. Nissan there, Sejak just about being held off by the Subaru. Yeah, oh, the cutback. Sejak up into P2. Lovely stuff. And will the Mazda follow through too?
Trying to do on the inside then and keep an eye out for Honda with Valerio Gallo, who's behind the wheel as well. We come through into the left-hander, Honda versus Subaru. Oh, Sejak's off into the gravel. Was there a bit of contact there as they came through in towards the left-hander? The upshot is the Polish driver goes tumbling down the order. He was in 2nd place. He's now down to 7th place. And look at what it's done for Porsche and for Angel Stroza. He's now got a 1.6 second advantage as they all start squabbling amongst one another, and a 1 second
this race in 9th position. He's up to P2. A great drive there from the 2020 Nations Cup champion. Amazing run by him. No, sorry, 2021. Nearly got it right. That was near.
Long time ago. Oh, hang on a minute. Look at Subaru on the inside. They lunged through on 2 cars, getting the better of Mazda, and then also getting the better of Honda as they now run side by side with one another through this left-hander. That was absolutely sensational for Team Subaru. A big lunge, and it's paid off beautifully. Now Lexus are ready to try and pick the pocket of another car. They get through on Mazda for 4th.
What do you say at the start of this race, Tom? They're going to take it easy? I don't think so. In the background, Toyota almost 3 wide there with McLaren and Mazda. Mazda plummeting down the order. This is horrible for their championship at the moment. So Porsche and Angel Stroza is just laughing all the way to the back. 2.4 seconds now is the gap as Subaru and Honda battle it out still. There through goes Valerio Gallo. Not much really Drumont can do about that, can he? But here's the question. Are they going to keep squabbling, or does Gallo have the pace to catch that Porsche in front?
Well, the problem here for Drumont is obviously he was the cork in the bottle. So now that Valerio Gallo's gone through, you would imagine that unless he's able to keep the pace with the Honda and live with it in a straight line, he's going to start dropping back. That might pop him into the clutches of Lexus. It might pop into the clutches of McLaren. It could be even worse here for Kylian Drumont. But you can see what it means, though, for Porsche at the moment. If the checker flag fell now, it would be a dream start to the grand final with a 3-point advantage over Subaru and even more over the Mazda team as well, who've dropped down into 6th place.
Maybe you've got to just manifest it. Maybe that's the trick. Angel saying, you know what, we're going to win this. There it is.
Yeah, I went for a walk with him yesterday. He was so calm, so focused, and so ready to go out and win. He said, no, we're leaving nothing on the table. We are here to win, and that is exactly what we're going to do. He was a man that was absolutely unwavering in the confidence that was underneath him, and that is proving to be absolutely justified here tonight.
Yeah, so right now, Gallo is he's kind of very slowly catching in Astroza, not by a lot. Only a couple of laps left in this race here at Sardinia, so really interesting back of this circuit. I got to admit, I thought we'd had a bit of a quiet one here, but it's been anything but that so far. Fast lap of the race, a BMW and Suzuki down in P7, so he's quick, but he needs to go a bit quicker than that, I think.
Yeah, the problem is their championship challenge has really fallen apart like a cheap watch, courtesy of one race, isn't it? Really, you know.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
I can see what you've got on your wrist. Across the timeline we go. McLaren versus Lexus side by side with one another as we come down the start-finish straight in towards the left-hander as we go over the crest of the hill. Lexus on the inside, McLaren on the outside then. So Mangano versus Murphy in the Lexus versus the McLaren. Mazda and Cockerman ready to try and pick their pocket as well. That'll be damage limitation there for Cockerman as they try to ascend their way back up the order following the early dramas that they have suffered. As they flick it through in towards the right-hander, it all stays pretty stagnant in terms of the positions for now. Let's have a look at this battle then with Mazda. So this is a lunge to the inside. And I don't know if there was contact there. It just looked like Sejak outbraked himself from that angle, at least, certainly.
They both did. Like, there wasn't any clear moving of the car there, but I'm sure Sejak will have his own opinions on what happened there as well. But we really, I mean, for Mazda and team and Cockerman, he really needs to invent something now because he's down in 6th place. He needs better points than this. Lexus and McLaren side by side. Still, that McLaren's getting put on the grass. Yep, why'd you go? And then it comes back on and hits the Mazda there. Cockerman into the barrier goes Team McLaren. I mean, there's a saying in karting, which is outside of suicide, and he tried it there and he got shown the door, didn't he?
Yeah, not ideal at all there for the team, and good for Mazda. At least they're able to take profit of that position. We go through into the left-hander. That's where the penalty zone is, by the way. So when you see the drivers picking up the penalties, that's where they will serve them. So here are the point standings. You can see there Porsche would be leading the way by 3 points. There will be a tie for second position between Subaru and Mazda if the checkered flag fell now. Still a fair gap to Nissan behind there as well. We now begin the last lap of action, though, and what a dream drive this has proven to be for Angel Enestrosa so far in this race. Again, he's just looked calm, controlled and comfortable, as have the entire team here tonight. They've just been absolutely unfathomable.
They have really, really good performance so far from this man, Angel Enestrosa, in that Porsche. Just he had a bit of luck go his way, we must say, but he's been very well at the front. Only about half a lap or so before Porsche claimed their second win of the evening here. And it's all going their way. I mean, here is Valerio Gallo. What a drive from Gallo. Probably one of the drives of this show so far. Up 7 places defending from Drummond in that Subaru. And I think Team Mazda pick up the bits. P5 for them. There is Enestrosa, of course, double points for our grand final. So whilst this will put Porsche in the lead going into the final, still all to play for.
Well, Mazda, their race is it's good damage limitation for them in 5th position. If they can get another place on Lexus, that'll be a very welcome result.
Oh my word! So that AMG did the same trick. It came out of nowhere. Nearly took out 2 cars. What are they doing in that AMG?
Yeah, that circuit is a bit of a legendary place for a dive bomb at this Sardinia road course, and well, no surprise that we're seeing it here, especially on the final lap, as a bit of impatience gets the better of some of the drivers. But Porsche have kept their calm, they've kept their nerve, and they've kept their cool. Angel Enestrosa is going to power Porsche to victory for the second time here in the Manufacturers' Cup. They flick it through the right-hander, and they will take the checkered flag. A penalty for Lexus means that Mazda will elevate themselves up into 4th place, and then subsequently get 2nd place in the standings into the final race. But Porsche takes victory ahead of Honda and ahead of Subaru in 3rd position. Then Mazda now up into 4th place with Lexus down into 5th, with 3 abreast there between AMG, McLaren and Nissan to the checkered flag as well. But what a fantastic drive for Team Porsche, and what confidence they will have going into the grand final.
Man, you see there, you start to get an inkling at this point. If you're Angel Enestrosa, you're thinking, you know what, maybe this is the year. This is the year. Was it 2019 the last time they won an event, Porsche? I don't think it was that long ago, but it's just amazing to see. Sorry, it was this year. It was last round, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Oh my God, there goes me. But
last time they won in Japan, 2019.
Yeah, there you go. So that was half right. But you start to get the impression how maybe it's possible. But, grand final coming up. It's a long race, the grand final. Double points too. So whilst they're in the penalties right now, it could all change.
Certainly can do. Let's have a look at some highlights then from the third race of the Manufacturers' Cup. Well, Porsche led the way at the start of this one from Mazda and Subaru. Then it was Nissan and then McLaren. It was your top five. We came over the crest of the hill in towards the first corner. We didn't see drama, though, in the opening stage of that race. This was Mercedes with a big lunge on the inside of Honda, which then careered into the side of Lamborghini, and they picked up a penalty for their troubles. Meanwhile, the sharp end of it, we saw Subaru getting their elbows out on Mazda. We saw Nissan with McLaren in the mix there as well. We nearly went three abreast for second place as Inestrosa started to streak off and build a bit of a gap to the rest of the field as they started squabbling with one another. And we saw Nissan with Sejak right up into second place. Great drive from him. But then there was a bit of a bizarre incident. There was maybe a bit of contact between themselves and Mazda, which ultimately set them off. And you can see the frustration evident there for Mikołaj Sejak. Ultimately, it meant that they would come across the line in ninth place at the checkered flag. We saw Honda versus Subaru, an amazing race from Valerio Gallo. So McLaren decided to go and cut the grass here at Sardinia and dropped back a couple of places. And then Mercedes biffed it into the back of McLaren in the closing stages. They really did like that patch of grass at the particular corner, and ultimately it cost them a bit of time and it cost them a place to BMW on that occasion. But no such dramas for Inestrosa and for Porsche, as they had a remarkably calm, comfortable and quiet race to take the checkered flag by 2.3 seconds over Honda at the end of that one, and a very well-deserved victory, their second of the night, and it gives them a point advantage going into the grand final here today. So confirmation of the race 3 results then here for the Manufacturers' Cup. Inestrosa and Porsche taking the checkered flag ahead of Valerio Gallo, and for Honda then Kilian Drumont in the third position ahead of the Mazda of Ryota Kokkonen. Mangano in fifth ahead of Suzuki in sixth position. Lanusa there in seventh ahead of Murphy. Sejak, who was bitterly disappointed with at ninth place. Karatza, Rosenberger and Jun Hashima are your final finishers then here today. But what a brilliant drive from Angel Inestrosa. And as we said, a 3-point advantage going into that final race of the evening here tonight. Well, let's catch up then with Angel Inestrosa and get the Chilean driver's thoughts after another fantastic drive for Team Porsche.
Hi. I was having a little dance. I wasn't ready. I'm sorry. Hi.
Yeah, enjoying.
Yeah, just enjoying the music, enjoying the vibe. Engel, you're back, baby.
I am.
Yeah, we love to see you.
Yeah, congratulations. おめでとうございます。Vamos! Vamos!
Wait, no, you need to do the...
yeah, of course. I mean, thumbs up always.
How was that for you? I mean, obviously getting not quite so comfortable, but towards the end of the race, you look really, I mean, I say comfortable. How comfortable is it ever?
I mean, I knew that I had Honda behind, which was driven by Valerio, which is always fast, you know. So I had to stay fast, you know. But the first few laps were not comfortable at all. I mean, I had a plan, which worked perfectly, which is just try to pack everyone behind, and they will try to overtake each other, and I will go myself alone in first place. It worked. Yeah.
もう今回ね、最初後ろにホンダがいたので、速いバレリオが速いっていうのは分かってたんで、とにかく逃げなきゃいけないっていうのは分かってたんですけども、最初の数ラップは本当に大変でした。で、プランがあって後ろで争ってくれれば自分は逃げられると思ったので、そのプラン通り行ったということですが、最後のね、じゃあ5ラップはかなり楽に走れたんですが、でもミスはできないという状況だったんでしょうかね。So the final 5 laps were a couple of laps was like, you know, no mistakes. Making no mistakes and doing a Saturday evening ride.
Yeah, exactly as you said. No mistakes at all. So that was I was trying to do, and yeah, I mean it worked pretty well. Right now, I think we are in first place. Yes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, that's good. So
I can't do maths. I have to wait for it to tell me on the screen. I'm like 3 plus 4. No.
Well, now the grand finals, and that's it. I mean, we will fight for everything.
How's the competition been this year?
I mean, amazing. Yeah. The first round, Sato-san did not have good luck, sadly. And the second round, well, Serrano made 3 points, which was really, really good. Then Los Angeles, well, you know. I won that race and it feels
You
amazing.
won in Los Angeles.
ロサンゼルス
Just
で勝ったの
bragging.
がここに繋がってる
I
というこ
won
と
in
で
Los
すね。
Angeles.
これでシーズントップに立ったということで、この後のファイナルも本当に楽しみなんですけれども、最初はね、佐藤さんが、第1戦はですね、ちょっと不運もあったんですけど、その後3ポイント取って、自分がロサンゼルスで勝って、そして、この状況でロサンゼルスで勝ったということで、拍手もう一度お送りしましょう。2勝ということです。2 wins then.
Well, look, congratulations. Good luck in the final race to
Thank
all
you.
the drivers. And we'll throw it back up to Tom and Jimmy. It's the grand final, Sasha.
It is. One more. Oh.
Sasha's going to need to go and get a hearing test after that one, I think. Yeah, brilliant job from Porsche, from Angel Nostroza. No surprise that he just seems to be calm, confident, not overplaying his chances, not getting ahead of himself, and that's reflecting in the results, as you can see now. In fact, actually a 2-point swing that they have over Mazda, because Mazda got the better of Lexus at the end of that one. Lexus picking up that penalty on the final lap.
Yeah, I mean, we have three very clear contenders now going into Grand Final: Porsche, Mazda, and Subaru, separated by a couple of points between all of them. Shame about Nissan there and Sajak. I mean, that mistake really has cost him a proper go at this now, and he'll know that, and that'll be very frustrating for that team. But there is still, that places on offer here, but the top three, they're looking like they're a bit of a league of their own right now.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, look, it's mathematically possible for Nissan to do it. I mean, what have you got on offer? 24 points for that grand final. So I'm just trying to do the math in my head. Lexus could technically do it, couldn't they? But they would need a bit of a minor miracle.
They all need to retire.
Yeah, exactly.
Which probably is not going to happen. So, well, you never know. You never know. But I mean, I wasn't sure these are the standings I'd be seeing when we came in here. Subaru's still in contention as well. Mazda, I mean, an interesting race to cope with now. We don't tend to see him fold under pressure that often. They did a couple of bad choices, just put him in a weird place in the race.
But ultimately, they recovered well, didn't they? Getting into fourth place at the end of that one. I know a bit of fortune on the final lap. Anyway, let's get into that in a few moments' time. We've got a fantastic announcement to come here today.
That's right. I'm here with Kazunori Yamauchi. Yamauchi-san です。よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございます。
So, for Yamauchi-san, how was the season and what are you looking forward for next year? まずは今シーズンここまでどうだったのかと、来シーズンに向けてはどうですか？来年に向けてはどうですかというところをまず伺いたいと思います。
はい、今年のレース、本当にどれもいいレースで、一つ一つ数えればキリがないんですけれども、今ね、こうして本当にワールドファイナルを迎えられたことは本当に嬉しく思っています。で、ちょっと気が早いんですけれども、来年の話も少ししたいと思っていて。
はい。So, first of all, we had so many good races, not to be named. I mean, every race was good, and really happy that we are here for the finals. But I want to go a little. 来年の話では。
はい。まず一つ目が、来年なんですが、シーズン結構早く始まります。具体的には1月の中旬、もうすぐですよね。1月の中旬からオンラインシーズンが始まります。
So the next season will start really early, mid-January. The online will start, and
あともう一つはですね、ビデオをご覧になっていただければいいかなと。
And for the next announcement, let's look at the video. Please welcome on stage His Excellency Saeed Al Fazari from Abu Dhabi Department of Culture and Tourism.
Right.
All right, so you have a special announcement. You're
Yes.
here in Fukuoka for the announcement. 特別なアナウンスメントのために来ていただきました。Please announce.
サイド閣下です。はい。
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Department of Culture and Tourism Abu Dhabi, it's an honor to be here today at the Gran Turismo World Series 2025.
はい、皆さんこんばんは。アブダビ文化観光局をですね代表しまして本日はグランツーリズムワールドシリーズ、2025のワールドファイナルに来れたことを光栄に思っています。
As the pinnacle of sim racing and the definitive global standard, Gran Turismo World Series, global standard, Gran Turismo World Series
Man, this is
presents a
kind of
unique vision
glitchy.
and an elite level of competition to the world. This pursuit of excellence and elite performance perfectly mirrors the ambition and drive that we champion in Abu Dhabi.
シミュレーシングの最高峰であり世界的な基準を打ち立てる存在でもあるグランツーリスモワールドシリーズはですね唯一無二のビジョンとそして世界トップレベルの競技を世界に示しているんですね。この卓越性とそしてエリートパフォーマンスへの追求ですがまさに私たちがアブダビで掲げ推進している志と完全に重なるんです。
Abu Dhabi is transforming into a global gaming hub, establishing the Emirate as the center of excellence that sets industry benchmarks from talent development and business attraction to game development and the hosting of elite sports events.
はい、アブダビは現在ですね世界的なゲーミングハブへと変貌をですね遂げているんですね。人材育成、そしてビジネスの誘致、ゲーム開発、さらにトップレベルのマークを打ち立てる卓越性の拠点としてその地位を確立しつつあるんです。
Through initiatives like Abu Dhabi Gaming, the Emirate is developing a dynamic industry that connects businesses, investors, innovators, and talent across the global gaming value chain. We are creating an end-to-end gaming ecosystem that empowers the next generation of creators, developers, publishers, and esport athletes to thrive from Abu Dhabi.
アブダビゲーミングをはじめとする取り組みを通じてですね、私たちは企業、そして投資家、イノベーター、さらに才能ある人材をグローバルなゲーミングバリューチェーンを全体でつなぐ活気ある産業を育成しているんです。アブダビを拠点に次世代のクリエイター、開発者、そしてパブリッシャー、さらに e スポーツアスリートが活躍できるエンドトゥエンドのゲーミングエコシステムを構築しているんです。
Recently, we were thrilled to see Abu Dhabi make a statement in the gaming world as Yas Marina Circuit was added to Gran Turismo 7, breaking new ground. This exciting development offers players around the world the opportunity to experience our iconic track in-game and showcases our city and new audiences around the world.
最近ではですね、安マリナサーキットもグランツーリズム7に追加されたことによりですね、アブダビがゲーミングの世界で大きな存在感を示したことを私たちは大変嬉しく思っているんです。この画期的な取り組みによって世界中のプレイヤーがですね、ゲーム内で私たちの象徴的なサーキットを体験できるようになりまして、アブダビという都市を新たなオーディエンスに向けて発信する機会ともなりました。
Building on this momentum, today I have the pleasure of making another exciting announcement that supports our ambition to elevate Abu Dhabi's position as a global gaming hub.
はい、この勢いをさらに発展させる形でですね、本日アブダビが世界的なゲーミングハブへと押し上げていくもう一つのエキサイティングな興奮する発表をさせていただきたいと思います。
I am delighted to share that Abu Dhabi will host the opening event of the Gran Turismo World Series 2026.
So,
はい、この度2026年
Abu Dhabi
ワールド
and
シリーズ
United Arab
2026の開幕戦をアブダビで開催することをここに発表いたしたいと思います。
host the first round of the Gran Turismo World Series, and then after that, World Series go coast to coast.
On 28th of March 2026, this marks a significant moment for sim racing in the region and for Abu Dhabi's growth as a global destination for elite sports events.
2026年の3月28日でこの地域におけるシムレーシングにとって、そしてアブダビが世界有数のエリート e スポーツ開催地として成長していく上で非常に重要な節目の日ということになります。
Events like this go beyond competition. They are catalysts for growth, supporting the evolution of Abu Dhabi gaming sector, diversifying the economy, and laying the foundation of future careers in a global industry.
このようなイベントは単なる競技の場にとどまりません。アブダビのゲーミング産業の進化を後押ししまして、経済の多角化を促進、グローバル産業における将来のキャリアへの基盤を築く成長の原動力なんです。
We look forward to welcoming you all to Abu Dhabi and hosting the opening event of the 2026 season, setting the tone for another gripping year of on-track competition. Thank you.
私たちは皆様をアブダビにお迎えし、2026シーズンの開幕戦を開催できることを心より楽しみにしております。そして新たな1年の熱戦の幕開けにふさわしい舞台を共に作り上げていきたいと思います。ありがとうございました。Thank you so much. Wow, what an announcement. So, 山内さん。いやー、驚きました。
そうですね。アブダビの皆さんとはもう何年も前から、こういったプランを練っていて、ようやく安マリーナサーキットもグランツーリスモの中に収録できて、いよいよライブイベントということで、新たなね、歴史がそこから始まるんじゃないかなと期待してます。
はい。We were talking with Abu Dhabi for a few years now, and finally, Yas Marina Circuit is in Gran Turismo 7, and now we are holding a live event next year. I'm really excited. His Excellency, Your Excellency, how do you feel now?
Oh, super happy. Happy being in Japan. Happy having GT World Series in Abu Dhabi next year. As you have mentioned, we have worked a lot towards that point, and hopefully it will be an annual event.
はい、もうね、本当にすごく努力してきたので、皆さんこのイベントをね、開催するのを本当に楽しみにしていますということですが、tickets will be is online now. You can go to granturismo.com. granturismo.com でチケットを手に入れることもできます。ぜひアクセスしていただきたいと思います。If you can come to Abu Dhabi, it will be welcomed, and you can also watch it from all around the world. もちろんアブダビに来ていただいてチケットを手に入れていただいても OK ですし、そして、さらにですね、世界中からご覧いただくこともできるということで、アブダビを楽しんでいただきたいと思います。Thank you so much both. Thank you. ありがとうございました。
Well, hugely exciting to see Gran Turismo going to the Middle East for the very first time, to Abu Dhabi. And that is exactly where we're going to be hosting the grand final for the Manufacturers' Cup here today as well. Brand new, of course, in GT7, launched as part of the Spec 3 update, along with a couple of new cars and some other circuits and all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, this circuit in particular is a bit of a classic now, isn't it, really, in terms of some of the racing action that we've seen over the years?
Yeah, you can't forget how long it's been around now, actually. It's
2009.
Wow, really? Oh, man, we're getting old. Anyway, speaking of old, it's Tom Brooks. But here are the details for our grand final. Group 3 cars. Endurance race around Jasmine. 20 laps. All drivers have to get in at least once, and you have to use each tyre for at least 5 consecutive laps, which means minimum driving time 5 laps for each driver here. So here's what our gremlins in the strategy department think will happen here. Do you agree with that, Tom?
Well, I mean, I was speaking to a couple of the drivers. They said that, look, the soft tyres, they go off the boil really, really quick. They said the medium tyres, a lot less so. So who knows? You could see a few interesting strategies. 9 laps is what they reckon the absolute maximum is going to be on that medium compacted tyre. But that's sort of the halfway house between that and the hard tyre. I mean, look at the difference in performance. The soft tyre, 2 seconds a lap quicker than the hard. So if you can eke out something on the mediums, it might prove to be beneficial.
Yeah, hard tyre is marble yet again. I mean, that's the problem with that tyre here. It's made for a much longer race distance. And whilst it is being used to that Dunlop hard tyre, it is just like, you tend to give that to maybe the weaker driver in the team. The driver who maybe strolls more around that circuit, and use that from there. So here is the starting grid based off the results of the last race. So Porsche, Honda, Subaru, Mazda. That's great for Porsche. They're in the pound seat there. Now Honda is in the realms to upset someone, get in someone's way. So, I mean, that really realistically probably out of contention for a top 3 result here tonight, but they can definitely get in someone's way and ruin someone else's race.
Yeah, what have they got? 18 points on the board, something like that? Well, there we go. Let's have another look, shall we? Honda, a little bit fewer than that, actually. 13 points on the board there for Honda. But like you say, they could be the disruptor, the sort of the cat amongst the pigeons, as it were. Just to remind you of where we are at in terms of the points. Porsche now lead. They have a 2-point swing over Mazda, who are subsequently 1 point ahead of Subaru there as well. Then you've got Nissan, Lexus, BMW, McLaren and Toyota also involved in their own battle on the fringes of the podium there, as it were. But really, the top 3, they're sort of the outliers here, aren't they, of Porsche, Mazda and Subaru. How are they going to play this one here, Jimmy? I mean, what would you be doing at the start of this race if it was down to you? Would you be putting your quick driver in first? Do you put your slow driver in the middle? How do you play it?
It's a tough one. You have to really think about where you're starting on the grid. I mean, I can see now in the seat, Ango Inestrosa is starting the car for Team Porsche, and we've seen where he does well, leads from the front. So you put him maybe on the soft tyre and let him go from there. We know that team also contains Jose Serrano. Here are the winning predictions, by the way. Subaru, would you reckon that's fan favourite, you think?
Well, I think they might have. I think they might have a bit of popular opinion there. I mean, look, they're still very much in the opportunity to come and claim the title. They've won it twice before, haven't they? Subaru being Manufacturers' Cup champions.
So what? BMW and Lexus enjoy huffing some copium at home right now. That's not happening, boys. I don't think. Unless there's some dramatic turnaround, it's going to be tough for those guys to come from.
Not a lot of love for Mazda there as well, if I may say so.
No? I really think it should be percentage based. So if you pick like a more outside team, you get like more credits. But is that gambling? That might be a bit too close to gambling.
Possibly so. Possibly so. Well, you can see the drivers there who are lined up on the grid ready to go. We are now just moments away from the grand final as we get ready to crown our champions in the Manufacturers' Cup.
Well, it's almost the grand final, but we have someone who's come back again this year. Hello.
なんと去年もいたカニ男さんです。なんと今年も来てくれました。カニ。He says crab.
Fukuoka, are you ready for the grand final of the Manufacturers Series 2025?
いよいよファイナル。
4 live events in 2025, and it now all comes down to this as we get ready to crown our Manufacturers' Cup champion of this season. Well, how is it going to work out? We're racing in a brand new venue in the GT World Series. Abu Dhabi is the home for this one, and here is how the grid will line up for the final race. Porsche will be on pole position with Angela Stroza heading the field. Trent Jeffrey will spearhead Honda's charge from that front row as well. Takuma Miyazono, P3 for Subaru ahead of Mazda's Paul Ura in 4th place. Lining up on the 3rd row of the grid, Giorgio Manguino for Lexus, former champions, of course, with BMW for company alongside in 6th place. And it's Mercedes-AMG, tricky nice at the office for them so far here today, with McLaren lining up P8 with Yamamoto behind the wheel. Then it's Nissan and Philo in 9th position with Toyota's Kaida Brun in 10th place. Lamborghini and Rosenberg are lining up P11 on the grid. And Ferrari with João Jesus behind the wheel in 12th position. Now, of course, we've got tyre strategy, we've got fuel to consider here in this one here, Jimmy, as well. And from what we can see, Porsche are starting this one on the softs. They're trying to get away early.
Yeah, I mean, unsurprising, I think, from what we've seen so far. Interesting, a couple of teams there, you hear them rev on the grid to try to burn a bit of fuel. A couple of them have done that now, just have a bit of a lighter car to start with. That's how fine the margins are here. Not sure the engine's going to appreciate that so much, but that's part of the game here in the Gran Turismo World Series.
Absolutely. Well, there is Paul Ura sitting in the Mazda. They line up 4th position here in this one. Just to remind you, great opportunity for them to come through and claim their first ever Manufacturers' Cup crown here tonight. Porsche, of course, on the precipice of greatness there as well. They've never claimed a Manufacturers' Cup champion. We've never had a non-Japanese Manufacturers' Cup champion as well. But what will happen when the lights go out and we go racing for one final time in 2025? Porsche will lead the field across the line, followed by Honda, followed by Subaru, as the grand final for the Manufacturers' Cup is underway in 2025 as we come down towards the first corner here at Abu Dhabi. It's a 90-degree left-hander and a fairly heavy braking zone, but drivers will be trying to get heat into the tyres and the brakes over these first sweeping few corners as they make their way through this first sector of the lap. And a clean start there for Porsche and for Angela Stroza. He's on the soft component tyre relative to Honda and Trent Jeffrey, who's going to be a bit of a sitting duck there. We're nearly 3 abreast down to the left-hander. Look at Mazda, 2 places for the price of 1 into the hairpin bend. That's absolutely sensational for Paul Ura on the soft component tyres. He's through and into 2nd place.
That was a super important move there for the Mazda because they need to chase down that Porsche. They need to stay with them. Angela Stroza's balance to go fast early. And of course, Paul Ura cannot afford to be stuck behind slower cars on slower compounder tyres. So very important parts there from Ura. And as we see Subaru and Honda close together as well, that Honda on the hard compounder tyre. The hard stint is all about damage limitations. They'll try their best to stay with the Subaru for now. But Porsche and Mazda already making a little bit of a gap between the rest of the field here.
Yeah, you'd imagine what you're going to be set to see then at this particular point in the race is the soft tyre shop runners, so Porsche and Mazda, Stroza and Ura. They'll clear off into the distance. The Subaru and the Lexus will be in 3rd and 4th place as they go side by side with one another through that left-hander. And then you'll see the hard shop runners sort of in their own group at the moment. The race is generally what they do is they start off a little bit slower, then get a bit interesting in the middle part of the race, and then right towards the end, once the strategies diverge in terms of the tyres and in terms of the fuel loads and who's picked and decided what drivers and so on and so forth, that's when it'll get very interesting indeed.
Yeah, but Lexus making a good start there up to P3, up to past Team Subaru as well here. So Lexus is always a strong contender in these events. So 2018 they won.
First time, and 2024 as well.
And 2024, yeah. So they've got pedigree as Lexus, but a reminder, double points, of course, for this race. There your points are on screen. 24 for the winner, so huge haul if you manage to win this. And if the winner of this race is Porsche, Mazda or Subaru, each team respectively will take away the crown here today.
Absolutely. So it's damage limitation then for Honda here. What they've got to try and do is hang on to the coattails of Subaru and Lexus as much as they can. They're involved in their own little sort of battle, as it were, going in towards this hairpin bend. And what Honda would really benefit from is if they just started fighting amongst one another. But however, these drivers, they're very experienced. Behind the wheel of that Lexus is Giorgio Manguino. He's been here since day one. Takuma Miyazono behind the wheel of the Subaru. He knows a thing or two about how to win a title. They're not going to start duffing one another up in this first phase of the race. And look at how they're just playing it safe, just biding their time, lifting off of the throttle down this straight here to try and save a bit of fuel, but also just not get involved in sending one up the inside, costing them both time as they enter into the corner and subsequently dropping them back into those hard shot runners.
There's a possibility that he's just staying there and using the draft of his Lexus down the straight. I mean, we know the Subaru's really fast in that last sector, but maybe overall the lap time is quicker with a draft for this Subaru. So a little bit of strategy in play here to go into lap 2. Of course, strategy, just a reminder, each tyre must be used a minimum of 5 laps, which means basically every driver has to drive at least 5 laps. So there are stronger and weaker drivers in each team. We tend to see the guys running the soft tyre be the fastest. I say that though. Who's quicker out of Serrano and Inestrosa? That's an interesting one to try and piece apart. But we'll leave that for now as we watch Lexus and Subaru go by what we've sort of christened as the Latifi Memorial there on the right-hand side. And luckily he's not in this race.
Goodness me. I wondered how long it would take.
Yeah.
2 laps was the
Yeah,
answer.
2 laps.
As it turns out of this final corner we go, across the timing line then. Porsche trying to stretch that advantage. Last time around 153.7. Actually a couple of tenths of a second slower than Mazda and Pol Eura. So the gap sitting at a bit of a constant. So I know they're trying to stretch the advantage. It's not quite working for them. So all that Pol Eura needs to do then here is just drive his own race, sit there in second place, not allow Porsche to get too far off into the distance. As you said, Jimmy, that first lap move where we saw him sending it to the inside down into here on 2 cars, absolutely critical, because if he had waited another couple of corners, even the length of this back straight or so, it could have cost him time. That gap could have gone up from being a second as it is now. It could have been 1.5 seconds. It could have been out of that slipstreaming range.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess now the question is, how long can these guys make that soft tyre last? I mean, tyre wear-wise, it seems pretty equal between Porsche and Mazda. Mazda being slightly better on its tyres so far on the data that we have in the home support there. Nice effort to give him Miyazono. There he is, rocking some very cute gloves as well. Very nice, look at those.
Yeah.
What's that saying? C-Sports team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a colour clash, I must be honest, with the red, if I'm being completely
Is there
transparent.
not a stylist here? I'm sure. Send Jules in there.
Clearly not. Have
They'll
you
do
seen
it.
your hair?
This is in fashion, says someone.
Yes, if you woke up in 1978, perhaps.
I might
Anyway, Subaru and Takuma Miyazono sitting there in 4th place. I have to say, the loyalty that Takuma Miyazono has shown to Subaru over the years. I mean, if you remember, he won all of the championships back in 2020, and he's stayed with that team ever since. And he's won one since then as well, back in 2022. This is Mercedes versus Honda. The advantage of the slipstream there for Mercedes, going through on the inside down at the back straight and getting that move done quite nicely.
Lovely move there, nice and easy. Interestingly, Mazda are starting to pull in a little bit onto the back of Porsche and Angel and Inestrosa. I mean, do you fight either of those guys? I mean, you are directly fighting for the series win here, so you have to I think you have to make those moves here. You can't afford to sort of work together. You need to really try and force the other car into as many mistakes as possible. Ferrari picked up a 1-second penalty there. Shame for them. I'm not quite sure what happened, but it was colliding with another car. We might see a replay of that at some point. Meanwhile, we'll focus on this Subaru and Lexus. Get the impression Miyazono might be getting a little bit impatient now.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up his pace here, isn't he, to give him Miyazono. Let's see whether he can start to bring those fights to the front through into that left hand, isn't it? And he's going to have, of course, if we know the Achilles heel, though, of that Subaru has traditionally been in a straight line. So let's see what it's like compared to the Lexus. Of course, he's got the advantage of the slipstream, and if it was a bit quicker in the straight line, you'd see him pull alongside. But then we did see him lifting off down that back straight earlier on, so I wonder whether there's a similar strategy going on. Unfortunately for Nissan, meanwhile, it's so close into the braking zone, just a smattering of contact there as Miyazono just gets into the back of the Lexus of Giorgio Mangano, but Nissan picking up a penalty there in 8th place as well, the former champions. They won it back in 2023, if you remember. And, well, this year it has not been particularly brilliant end to it, with Nikolai Sejak really getting into some bother in his race earlier on here tonight in particular. But a penalty for them. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4th place, Subaru still on the coattails here of Lexus. I think they're going to have a lunge to the inside. They certainly are looking at it. Miyazono with the inside line. It's a brave move if you can make it stick through into there, but he gets it done absolutely wonderfully there. Miyazono into the braking zone as they come under the W Hotel into 3rd position.
Well, I didn't really sense too much resistance there from Mangana. I think he sort of knew it was over. And once you get to that point, that was a good place for him to make that move, because that Subaru is really quick through the last sector, can build hopefully a small bit of a gap for their sake anyway, and avoid being overtaken again on the straight. So here we are, coming to that 5 of this race. That's a minimum drive time for each driver. So end of this, I suspect we'll see the hard runners box, a driver change, and we'll see this race move into its second phase.
Mazda looking a little bit kinder on their tyres compared to Porsche at this early stage of the race, and that's reflected in the lap times. The gap now down to half a second between Porsche and Mazda. 1:54.695 for Inestrosa in the lead, 1:54.481 for Pol Ura in second place. So you can see the gap has come down to under half a second. It's now down to as close as it's been, and I wonder whether we might see a challenge for the race lead before too long. Paul's out of the slipstream but as we come onto this back straight though, so certainly not trying to get too close to the back of Inestrosa. Again, trying to play that long game. I wonder though, will we see a divergence in strategy? They're now back on the coattails of Porsche, our Mazda here then. Are they going to think about maybe the undercut in this race to try and get the better of the race leaders?
It's a possibility. I mean, like, to be honest, if you team Porsche, I don't think the undercut's going to work so much right now. You want to try and stretch that soft tyre for the best life it has. I'm wondering why Pol Ura is opting to stay behind right now. I mean, it's obvious he has the pace over the Porsche. He's caught right up now, gaps, what you can see on the screen. But that Mazda seems to have a bit of an advantage in a straight line. Maybe waiting for the back straight again, or
maybe saving fuel.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure how much fuel is going to be. I mean, fuel is going to be a factor here somewhat, but yeah, curious to see what the plan is there.
Yeah, coming through under the hotel we go, and you can see no style. This is as close as it's been in the battle for the race lead. 6 laps to remind you. That's about as much as we're reckoning these drivers are going to eke out. So we're coming in towards that pit window on the soft tyre. Are we going to see either of the top 2 diving into the pit lane? We are. Mazda come in then. So that's why we were seeing the hurry up for Pol Ura. He was pushing on. That was an in lap for him then here. He just needed to minimise the gap as much as he possibly could. They're going to change their driver as well. So Pol Ura will jump out of that car. Into the car will come Briotta Kokubun and onto the medium compound of tyre in this middle stint. And also a plethora of hard shot runners all now coming into them as well. I imagine they're all going to do the same. They're just going to try and get off of that hard compound of tyre as soon as they possibly can and all pretty much go on to the medium. So Kokubun in the Mazda, and now of course what he needs is a nice bit of clear air in front of him, which he'll get as a result of the driver who pitted first.
Really interesting. These guys will hop in
Porsche
now.
got a penalty, Jimmy.
Oh, why? That's got to be track limits. That's got to be track limits there for Angelo Inestrosa. I saw him flirting with the edge of it here. They're being quite strict here. Basically, if you put 2 wheels on the curb, it is going to, or both front wheels on the curb, I should say, sorry, it is going to be a penalty. So 4 wheels over, sorry, to be clear. Here's the replay. Let's see where it's for.
So we're through the right-hander. This is at turn 2. We're just going to go off to the outside. Yeah, 4 wheels over the white line. So, well, that'll be half a second penalty, something along the lines of that. It doesn't sound like a particular amount. Yeah, half a second. So not a particularly big penalty, but you don't just lose the time of that half second. You lose the time getting back up to speed again. So it works out about 1.5 seconds. And that could be the difference between making that overcut now, as it has to be, work or not work indeed.
That will definitely make a difference. I think that if they opt to box this lap, Team Porsche, which I think they probably will, they are going to be dropping behind Mazda. Depends to get in that Porsche next, what sort of stint they're going to run. Are they going to take that medium for the end, or they're going to go for a hard in the middle and then just go for a long medium stint at the end?
Well, that's what I was about to say. Do you now try and, limit the damage, stick your slower driver in, get your medium, your hard stint out of the way in the middle part of it, then come good at the end of the race, doing the reverse of what Subaru have done, courtesy of the fact that they're going to come out, I reckon 1.5 seconds, maybe a couple of seconds behind as a result of that penalty that they've picked up.
Let's see, Subaru looking very quick right now. Actually starting to, I think, catch up to the back of, and here comes Porsche. So Angelo Inestrosa in the box, our current leader and points leader boxing. Who's going to get in the car for these guys now, coming in for a fresh set of the Dunlop tyres? It's Jose Serrano, arguably the fastest man in Gran Turismo at the moment, hopping in that Porsche. What's the tyre, though? Onto the medium set of tyres there. So he'll be going through the long stint. I think that's a good call.
Makes sense, yeah. If you're going to stick your quickest driver in, arguably one of your quickest drivers in, certainly it's got to be Serrano, and it's got to be the medium combat of time, maximise that stint of the race. But the question is, what you want to do in this one is where you come out relative to them. Yeah, Mazda have already come out, so they're going to clear up into the distance, but where are Porsche going to come out relative to everybody else? Are they going to have a nice bit of clear air here? So Mazda there, it's not working out particularly brilliantly there for them as well. So what have they dropped in terms of time? It's about a second and a half or so, exactly as we were expecting there between Mazda and between Porsche. So, yeah, interesting to see how that's worked out. Not at all for Porsche, unfortunately.
Not really a strong outlap there, Kokubun, I don't think. I think that should have been a bigger gap, considering the penalty. See the Porsche there opting to pull off into the side of the road there. As the lights come on and darkness descends here at Abu Dhabi. I mean, I don't really recognise the circuit beside the floodlights, to be honest. So, looking forward to seeing how that looks. Replay here between BMW and Honda. So, what happened here?
So coming through into the final corner, BMW are going to be looking for the inside line. Oh, beautiful bit of switchback on the inside. Gets that move done absolutely wonderfully there for BMW. That's Thomas Laboutelet, who was behind the wheel of the car. Meanwhile, the sharp end of this, now Subaru with Lexus right on their coattails. So this was the battle for third place, just to remind you, prior to the pit stops. They are the drivers who started the medium compound tyre. They haven't yet pitted. About 9 laps or so. That's what we reckon the medium tyres are going to be able to eke out in this race. But Lexus and Subaru, they kept each other honest in the opening stage of this race. And they're just sitting there waiting for the right opportunity. I don't think they're going to send anything to the inside. We're not going to see that from Giorgio Mangano behind the wheel of that Lexus. But, again, they've just kept Subaru in their sights for now. Kept the gap at a constant, playing the patient game.
Yep. So, looking at Team Subaru right now, one of our contenders here at the Grand Finals at Fukuoka. It all comes down to this. It's been a long year for these guys. Our 4th event, of course, for our Manufacturers' Cup, with 3 teams in it to win it. Mazda, Subaru and Porsche. Currently, if it ended as it was, Subaru would be your champions, but they've not pitted yet. So, probably not going to happen. But right now, Giorgio Mangano keep them honest in the Lexus. As you say, former champion 24 and 2018. So, big pedigree for Team Lexus. Unfortunately, points-wise, not really in contention for the win here today, even no points.
And it's a shame for Lexus because, as we know, reigning Manufacturers' Cup champions, it just hasn't worked out for them this season. They've been sufferers of a fair bit of misfortune, but also they've just not really been in the same league as some of the other drivers, some of the teams and the consistencies that we've seen over the course of this season. And that goes back to the old adage of consistency creates champions. And that's exactly what we've seen over the course of this year. And it's ultimately what has been the downfall of Lexus's title defence in 2025. They are, though, still sitting on the back of the Subaru.
I think he's thinking about it now. He's starting to think, right, okay, I'm getting a bit bored of sitting there. Although saying that, washing white, understeering, those front tyres starting to wear on that Lexus, you can really see the difficulty of turning in there. The car won't rotate in the same way it used to as we go through this very technical section. There is actually quite a bit of camber. You don't quite see it on the broadcast, but it's off camber, both his corners. So the car is really difficult to get to the apex, and there, how close they get to the wall. In the background there, Kylian Drumont waiting behind Miyazona. He'll be in next. Miyazona pulls to the right-hand side into the pit lane from his first box at the end of lap 8. So 1 lap earlier than we expected there, and Kylian Drumont will get it. What tyres they're going to put on for Drumont? It has to be soft, surely.
Yeah, we need to see what the time is in terms of laps for Takuma Miyazono. It's 1:57.264, but it's the sector time here, because you would imagine Miyazono is going to come in next time around. But will they be able to, now they're in clear air, just run their own race, get a good in-lap for this? Soft tyres going on the Subaru, so you would imagine the Lexus, Giorgio Mangano behind the wheel of that car, is probably going to follow the same strategy, just mirror what they're doing and then duke it out in the closing stages of the race.
Meanwhile, Lexus leading now, owing to the fact that Subaru had pitted. Mazda and Porsche. Porsche's got right onto the back of Mazda now. That gap down 1.5 seconds to just over 7/10 of a second. That'll be in significant range.
0.4 of a second quicker last time around Jose Serrano compared to Ryota Kokubun in this middle stint. You were mentioning that Jose Serrano is arguably one of the quickest drivers in GT, and he's proving that here at this phase of the race. And this could be the thing that wins Porsche this race and possibly even the championship here tonight as well as this middle stint. Depends on what happens here for Jose Serrano, but if he can keep himself honest with Mazda, when they go onto the hard tyres in the closing stages, they could be right there in contention, especially after suffering that misfortune prior to the first pit stop.
It's all going to unravel soon. But we'll keep an eye on it, of course, as we get towards the midway here, the grand final. Lexus leader. I assume they'll be boxing this lap. Mangano, the pace is starting to fall for Mangano now, so you don't want to be staying out too long. I do wonder if they could find themselves maybe on the podium for this last race here. That'd be very interesting for them.
Well, just to give you an idea of the difference in sector times, last time around, middle sector for Ryota Kokubun is on fresher medium tyres compared to Giorgio Mangano, who's on pretty clapped out medium tyres, but about 6 or 7 tenths of a second in that middle sector. So no guesses as to how the Lexus is faring at the moment in terms of the tyre wear and in terms of the grip that will be missing from Giorgio Mangano's foot. And there we go, into the pit lane. Surely they're going to go onto the soft tyres in this middle stint and mirror what Subaru have done. I think anything else would be a little bit foolish, to be completely honest. No, in fact, well, there you go. They've turned that around. They've gone on for the hard tyre, so they're going for the soft tyre in the closing stages then of this race, and diverging from the strategy of Team Subaru. Is that going to be something that will pay off for them, because they'll have to do a very short final stint?
That's the thing, though, that Lexus is quick on the straights. That combined with a soft tyre compared to Subaru, who will be slow on the straights with a hard tyre, you know, it'll make that job a lot easier, I think, in the last stint. But we'll see as we go on to lap 10 here.
I wonder what it'll be like in terms of the gap for Lexus once they come out of the pit lane, because if they can stay within slipstream range of a car in front, that'll really help them out in terms of keeping that gap at a constant and limiting the damage, and it's worked out nicely. So they've clearly been calculating that between the teams and the drivers. They've got, of course, driver to team radio, so they can communicate with one another. They've obviously looked at the gaps, done the calculations on the fly. 1.5 seconds, it's just about enough to be within slipstreaming range, as we see Mazda versus Porsche starting to kick off into the braking zone of the left-hander. Porsche with the inside line challenging for the race lead, and Jose Serrano goes through on Ryota Kokkonen to hit the front for the first time then in the Porsche. Are we going to see a retaliation, though, from Mazda as we come in towards the next braking zone? They're in the slipstream here, and are they going to think about sending it through to the inside or the outside? Well, Serrano's parking the car on the inside of the corner. Mazda aren't going to be able to launch anything through because the line is going to be blocked unless Serrano runs it a bit wide. It sort of switches back on the inside as they go side by side with one another. We come through in towards the third sector. Mazda on the outside now as we flick it through into the right. Porsche on the inside. They hold the line and they'll hold the place into the braking zone as well.
I mean, here are your two title contenders fighting it out right now. Team Porsche, Team Mazda separated by less than 0.3 of a second. Team Porsche now leading courtesy of that move from Jose Serrano, which of course now, if the race were to end, would mean they will take the title today. It literally is whoever finishes first out of these two will be the one to win this title.
Keep an eye out for Subaru as well. Kylian Droubon's on the soft combat of tyre here, Jimmy, in this middle stint of the race. They started third, they are now third. They've got a gap of about 7 seconds or so. So Kylian Droubon's in a great position. He can use that soft tyre to his advantage, run a nice, clean middle stint in this race. Of course, they're going to have to pay for that later on because they're going to owe the hard tyre in the closing stages of the race. But I wonder how this is going to work out for them as we come in towards it, because of course Porsche and Mazda are also going to owe that hard tyre in the final stint. So if Subaru and Droubon can close that gap down, it could go from a two-way fight between Porsche and Mazda up to a three-way tussle.
Yeah, but we'll see. It's going to be a big ask for that Subaru to pull this back in again. But if anyone can do it, it'll be Kylian Droubon. And of course, as you say, that'll be our 3 title contenders all fighting, which is, I mean, it just goes to show who's been the most consistent, who's been the quickest this season when they're all there fighting at the end like this.
Well, exactly what Kylian Droubon is going to need is Porsche and Mazda to continue battling like they were last time around.
But they know this. These guys aren't silly. They'll know they can't afford to be fighting together, especially experienced heads like Ryota Kokkonen and, of course, Jose Serrano. That's why I think the move was so decisive. I'm right. I'm gonna go now. Let's not fight anymore. Let's get on with it. And you have to think, actually, now looking at it, the Porsche is very slowly edging away from that Mazda.
Toyota and Honda under investigation for a collision. They're down in 8th and 9th place, respectively. So not been a particularly brilliant race for them to write home about. We ride on board, though, meanwhile, here with Kokkonen then in the Mazda. Through into the right-hander. This is where we saw challenge for position last time around. No such dramas, though, here on lap 11 out of 20. Of course, one more stint there for all of the drivers left to run in this race. They must run at least of all 3 of the tyre compounds in this one, and also a question as to how they're going to do it in terms of the fuel strategy as well. I think most will be waiting for the final stint to do their to that right-hander we go. A little bit wide there at corner for Porsche and for Jose Serrano. I wonder if he's be taking a little bit more out of his tyres relative to the Mazda in this one as we descend into the darkness.
The Mazda and Kokkonen, great pictures there as we go out for another lap. It's very fast. Toyota receiving a 1-second penalty for a collision with another car. We've not seen that at the moment. But
yeah, that was with Honda. We saw the investigation come up. Yep. So clearly they've been deemed to be the aggressor. Just looking at the gap here, Jimmy, as well, 6.3 seconds with Subaru. So it's coming down, isn't it, here? Just to give you an idea of the difference in lap times between the top two and Kilian Drumont, so the mediums and the softs. It's about half a second or so quicker. Here's what happened then between Toyota and Honda. To the inside go Toyota, and into the side of Honda they go as well. That opens the door subsequently for Nissan, so drops them down, and they pick up a 1 second penalty for their troubles.
Yeah, simple that one. Track limits warning from Team Mazda. You've got to be careful of these guys. The stewards are pretty on it around here. So the stewards are basically said, listen, we're going to turn a lot of the penalties off here. Just make sure if you go over, we're going to watch it. They're watching these manually today. So Mazda, they're getting a bit of a reminder of that by the stewards. On board then with I did say Serrano was pulling away, but that seems to come back towards us now. So this is going to go down the wire. Look how close there Kokeman is to the back of that Porsche. And lap time-wise, you were saying, it's not a big gap. It's like maybe 7/10 of that faster is the Subaru right now, which is not enough to catch these guys before those soft tyres run out.
No, absolutely. Again, what Drumont is going to need here is them to start squabbling. They had such a good first stint of this race, did Porsche and Mazda, being on that soft compound tyre. But of course, they're going to be paying that pain in this middle stint. But as you said, the gap, it's just a bit too far away for Drumont and for Subaru. And of course, the problem with those soft tyres, yes, they're quick, but they don't have the same longevity as the medium tyres. So 6 laps into that stint, they're going to be absolutely knackered. And Kilian Drumont's already 4 laps into that, so they're coming towards the end of their useful shelf life, or will be in a lap or so's time. Down to just under 6 seconds for the first time is the gap between Porsche, Mazda and Subaru. But I think that challenge is going to come to a fairly abrupt end before too long. See the crowd here in Fukuoka watching on the bottom left-hand side of your picture. What a fantastic city this has proven to be, and what a great venue it is for the grand final of the Manufacturers' Cup, the World Finals indeed, of the GT World Series. So Porsche then, we're right on board with them. Another reminder in terms of your strategy, so a long middle stint for those on the medium tyres, a la Porsche, Mazda and pretty much everybody else behind, aside from Subaru. But they'll be going onto the hard tyres for that final stint of the race. They'll be slower relative to some other teams around. Everybody from BMW down has not run the soft compounded tyre yet, aside from Ferrari. So they're going to be significantly quicker in the closing stages of this one. If we start getting squabbles, start getting big battles amongst one another, that's when we could see the soft shop runners getting involved in the action.
Kokeman about as close as he has been so far. What we see him going for roof looks to the inside. They're kind of a half look. A little bit of contact there at the back of Hose of the Porsche. Kokeman is starting to get a little bit impatient, it has to be said. I think now he's starting to realise that the gap behind him is coming down a bit too quickly for his liking. He knows that he might not be fighting directly with Subaru behind him, but with BMW, with AMG. So he needs to make sure he gets as far forward as possible before boxing for that last set of tyres. Porsche there, looking drag at the front. They both owe that hard compound. So that last stint for them is going to be, well, pain, really, compared to these first couple of stints. And they've only got a couple more laps before they have to pit. 5 laps minimum of each set of tyres. This one and one more, and they have to box.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just to let you know as well, because there's a bit of a divergence in terms of the strategies between Porsche and Mazda and Subaru as well. They should pit relatively around a similar sort of time on that hard compound tyre. BMW then into the box. They're the first of the medium job runners in this final stint to blink. They're going to be going onto the soft tyre for their final stage of this race. Out of the car jumps Thomas Laboutelet. Into the car jumps Seiya Suzuki. We know how quick he can be on his day. Lamborghini, meanwhile, picks up a 1 second penalty for colliding with another car. That could prove to be pretty costly for them in that sort of mid-pack battle. Meanwhile, the Porsche of Jose Serrano just doing exactly what he loves to do, leading from the front, not falling under pressure. Half a second is the advantage that they hold over Mazda for now, but they pick up a warning for track limits. We saw that with Mazda a couple of laps or so ago. The stewards just keeping a watching eye on things. They're not going to be happy at all if they do pick up some penalties as a result.
And to be honest, it might even come down to that, because Subaru, whilst they are a bit further behind, of course, different strategy for them at the end, I think. So, one misplaced corner exit, turning in a little bit too early. That 45 second penalty could change everything. It has done in the past, it can do it again. That's Kokeman. Oh, no! He's hit Serrano's round. That's huge. Porsche there sideways. Kokeman into the back, and that's going to allow Team Subaru to come back into the fight. That's just changed everything there. As Kokeman gets it wrong, he gives the position back where the damage is done there. And man, oh man, you saw him double guess it on the way in. He thought about it and then thought, yeah, he committed too late. Far too late for that to work out, and that's cost them both about 3 seconds.
Proper save, though, from Jose Serrano, if I may say so. Very well done. Great car control. And now we're going to start to see the final pit stops taking place as well. So Angelina Stroza is going to jump into that car next time around.
He started the race.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. No, he's just, he's watching on. So it'll be Sato, won't it, for the final stint? You're absolutely right. Meanwhile, there are your live points rankings. So whoever wins this one will be winning this race. No further action. They deemed it a racing incident. I mean, I suppose you could look at it and say that, Cockerman, of course, he made a mistake, but he didn't gain anything as a result of that. It's as it was.
He did, the Subaru did, and so did the rest of the field. So, yeah, I mean, what the steward would say is final. AMG in now. Now another contenders race onto the soft compounder tyres goes the AMG. There is Karatza as well hopping in.
Benelli onto the AMG, isn't he? So he's jumped into that one. Lanuza is out of the car. Nissan also into the box. Lexus as well. So now we're starting to see everybody else who's on the soft shod tyre. So they've, of course, been out of sequence relative to the front sort of top four, really, in this race. Because, of course, they started on the slower compounds of tyre, and I wonder if it might bring them back into contention. Meanwhile, Porsche versus Mazda at the sharp end of this one. And you're absolutely right, Jimmy. I mean, if you remember, the gap between Subaru and the top two was, what, 5.5 seconds or so. It's now down to under 4 seconds as a result of that contact that we saw last time around. So we're now coming into the final stages of this race. Out of the Porsche is going to get Jose Serrano. Into the car is going to go Shota Sato, and let's see what he is going to be able to do on that hard tyre in the final stages of this one. In terms of the Mazda as well, we're going to see we're going to see Samuel Cardinal in the car, aren't we, for the final stint? So let's see how it works out. See how close they are through this final stage as they come under the W Hotel and through that left-hander. And this surely is now going to be the final part of this one. Big wiggle there for Cockerman as he just gets a bit too greedy under the power as the tyres are now really starting to get away, and into the box they both come at the end of lap 15 for their final pit stop of 2025 in the Manufacturers' Cup.
Yeah, slightly better box there from Mazda. That will just attempt gained anywhere is worth it, and now it's going to be a showdown. Amazing. It all comes down to this. The last 5 laps here at Fukuoka, the grand final of the Manufacturers' Cup. Team Porsche, Team Mazda, Team Subaru are your top 3 in the points, your top 3 contenders here. Whoever finishes first out of these 3 teams in this race will be the champion. Sato is charged with taking the car home for Team Porsche. Danny Solis in the car for Subaru. Who's in the car for Mazda, Tom?
In the Mazda, it'll be Samuel Cardinal for the final stint of this race. So let's see what the Canadian driver is going to be able to do. So Sato in at Porsche, Cardinal in at Mazda, Solis in at Subaru.
Where is Team BMW? They can upset the apple cart here, as you would say, Mr. Brooks. And they're not quite out of the pit lane yet. So I think realistically, they've got a bit of a run back. 2 seconds back to... Oh, wow, they're closer than I thought, Tom. Wow.
They are.
There they are. You can see them.
And they're going to be right on them like a shot before too long. 1.6 seconds. That's absolutely nothing given the performance advantage of these soft tyres. And they could be a bit of an upset because, look, the leaders, they're not too far down the road. There's 4 laps left of this one. Plenty of time for it to play out, especially if the top 2 start duffing one another up. We come down the back straight in towards the hairpin bend of the left-hander. Rather, I should say, at the moment, it's Porsche who will be the champions. If Mazda get into the lead, they'll be champions, but there's still plenty of time for a disruption here.
BMW and AMG are going to be rapid in these last few laps. We saw the time difference between the soft and the hard tyre being nearly 2 seconds a lap. So you have to keep an eye out for these guys now, as Sam Cardinal in that Mazda had a race win earlier on today at the Daytona event. So this is a bit different Daytona, more a couple of right-handers in this one, so definitely a bit difficult. But look, already, BMW is already on the back of Team Subaru. This is important for Subaru. They can't afford to lose places, but really they're just sitting duck. Danny Solis doing his best to defend, but that BMW far quicker on that soft unlock tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you sort of limit the damage then by this point and just sort of let them, not fight it too much, just get on with it? Let's wait and see what will happen. But Solis there just keeping, the normal racing line as we come through into the final sector. Mercedes AMG there as well with Lucas Bonelli, who's behind the wheel, and these two are going to be diving to the inside. Look at the grid they've got. BMW go through and into third place. Where's Lucas Bonelli? He's ready to try and pick his pocket as well. Through into the right-hander of the final corner. Bonelli doesn't have a gap there to use the extra momentum and the extra grip. On the exit of the corner, though, he does. Pulls alongside the Subaru. Bonelli and Mercedes then are up through and into fourth place. Subaru loses 2 places in as many corners.
See Solid's really struggling there. Wasn't really troubling the apex at all in the last corner, so that's him down to fifth now. And the German march of BMW and Team AMG go almost after Team Mazda. So the gap between Mazda and Porsche is 7/10. So basically, it's between these two really for the ultimate, for the grand final for the series. But these two could upset that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, what, 3 seconds or so? It's a gap that looks pretty big, and we've got 3 laps left. You wonder how soon they're going to be able to close up onto the back of them.
Well, it's 2 seconds a lap. It's a lap and a half. So we'll see it probably mid to lap 18. Really starting to go back. Here comes Bonelli there. He wants to lead the charge. Through he goes up at the inside there, into the braking zone. Up into third place goes Bonelli in the AMG. Past Seiya Suzuki in the BMW. It's been a while since Bonelli has been at the front of one of these events, and I'm sure he's hungry to try and take a win here at the grand final. Subaru, a 1 second track penalty, goes from bad to worse for Team Subaru and Danny Solis. That'll put them into the clutches of Nissan. How far will Subaru drop?
Well, Subaru are now out of contention for the overall victory in the Manufacturers' Cup. That's them done and dusted. You can pretty much count them out for it. Meanwhile, this is the effective battle for the race win in the grand final of the Manufacturers' Cup between Mercedes and between BMW. It'd be great for Mercedes. They need something to smile about after what has been a torrid couple of seasons in this championship. They came close to winning the Cup overall a few years ago, but that was ever such a distant memory now. And you can see them closing up onto the back. What is it now? 2.5 seconds. They've taken 1.5 seconds out over the course of this second and third sector alone.
What do you do if you're Mazda and Porsche right now? Because realistically, you're fighting each other, but you've got these 2 teams charging behind you. Do you just let them through, or do you fight for the win?
But I don't think you can do anything, can you? Because the difference of pace and grip and performance between the soft tire and the hard tire is so vast. What, 2.2 seconds last time? I don't think there's going to be anything they can do. They're just going to go through like they're sitting still. Mercedes and BMW are surely going to go on in this battle for victory, and then you're going to have a battle for what is a third place in this race that will be overall for the Manufacturers' Cup title.
And whilst all this is happening, Mazda are closing on Team Porsche. The gap coming down from 7/10 to half a second, though. Sam Cardinal in the RX Vision harrying the Porsche 911 in front at the moment. This is going to be such an exciting finish here to the Manufacturers Series in 2025. Bonelli there, though, hunting both of them down in the AMG.
So just to give you an idea, 16 points on offer for third place, 14 points on offer for fourth place. So it's a 2-point swing in it, but there's 2 points in it between the gaps at the start of this race. Let's have a look, though, at what's happening here between Mazda and Porsche. They're going to start to get their elbows out here before too long. Lap 18 out of 20. Are we going to see a dive from Samuel Cardinal down the back straight in towards the hairpin bend? Sato goes to the defensive line on the inside. Cardinal looks towards the outside of the Mazda. Don't think he can make anything stick through there. Nothing opening on the switchback on the inside as well. But what is opening is an opportunity for AMG and for BMW in the battle for this victory. They're closing up onto the back of the top 2 at a vast rate of knots, and surely it's a matter of when and not if they're going to strike in this battle for victory here.
But this is for everything. This is the battle for the win of the entire Manufacturers' Cup. Right now, Porsche and Mazda separated by less than 0.3 of a second. You can sense that Sam Cardinal thinks he can win this in that Mazda. He's got the pace. He's stayed with the Porsche. He's caught back up again. But can the Porsche hold him off? Can Sato hold off and take Porsche to a historic first Manufacturers' Cup win? As you said, Tom, a non-Japanese manufacturer has never won a Manufacturers' Cup or series event. So it's all going to come down to here's Bonelli and the AMG's right at the back of the Mazda now.
Yeah, we come through into the left and then the right-hander, and this is where Bonelli's going to have so much more grip through the sweeping fast right-hander into the braking zone of the hairpin. We're going to go, and are we going to see Bonelli launching his way through to the inside? Not quite on this occasion, but it's surely going to be the exit of the corner. Look at the traction he'll have underneath his right foot as we come down this 1 kilometre long back straight. He'll have more grip underneath him at this point. He'll have more grip into the braking zone, and surely he's going to be able to challenge for position. Mazda diving to the inside line then here, trying to defend that position. Bonelli looking for a way through. Are we going to go nearly 3 abreast? Is he going to split the 2 of them into the braking zone? We go Bonelli and Mercedes on the inside and through and into second. It split the top two on the hard common tyre. On the exit of the corner, though, Porsche are onto the curb. And here comes Benelli once more. He's got more grip on the exit of the corner. We come down the back straight we go. And Cardinal's ready to try and pick his pocket there as well. Side by side we are for second and third. Side by side we are also for the race lead. Into the braking zone. Around the outside goes Benelli. Contact there with Mazda. Goodness me, what drama we see on the penultimate lap. And the upshot is Lucas Benelli goes from challenging to the victory to being out of contention. Surely there's a penalty on the way there.
That is huge. They both just went to try and put out at the same time there. I mean, a bit of miscommunication between the two. I'd be interested to hear what the stewards say, but it'll be such a shame for it to end that way because Cardinal was taking fast. Regardless, though, penultimate lap, penultimate time from here right now. A 9/10 of a second gap for Team Porsche. Can Sato bring it home for this German manufacturer? But still in the background, look, BMW are there now. They're looking quick on that soft compounder tyre. It's 1, 2, 3 across the line. Your final lap here at Fukuoka. Will a steward's decision decide this race? We can only find out.
Well, let's hope the decision comes before the end of this final lap. Through the first corner for the last time we go. Porsche, Mazda and BMW all in your picture at the moment. The soft tyre shod BMW of Seiya Suzuki, who is behind the wheel of that car at the moment, is surely going to be doing exactly what Lucas Benelli was doing just one lap ago and threatening in this battle for the race lead. Down in towards the left-hander we go. Porsche leading the way for now. Samuel Cardinal, I don't think he's going to be quite close enough and gets a bit of a poor exit on the hairpin bend there, but where is Suzuki in relation to it? He's still 7/10 of a second away. He's not quite close enough to challenge at the moment. Mazda get a 2-second penalty for their involvement, so that is going to deny them an opportunity of the Manufacturers' Cup title here in 2025. And if Porsche rather I should say, are able to keep it on the straight and narrow and not come under any pressure from BMW in the closing stages of this one, they will be crowned as the champions of this season.
What a shame for Team Mazda. Well fought there, and not a way you want to see one of these races end at all, but that does give breathing room to Sato. It is now a victory lap for Porsche and Sato. So many years we've been doing this. 2018, we started this series here, and ever since then, we've never seen a non-Japanese manufacturer take the win here, but Porsche now only corners away from making Gran Turismo history.
Well, what a season it has been for Team Porsche. Consistency creates champions, as the old adage goes, and that has certainly proven to be the case for the German manufacturer. Angela Strozer of Chile, Jose Serrano of Spain, and Japan's Shota Sato, who is behind the wheel here in his home race in Fukuoka, will come around the final corner. Porsche become the Manufacturers' Cup champions of 2025 here in Japan. What a phenomenal season from the German manufacturers. They create history in the Gran Turismo World Series to become the first ever non-Japanese manufacturer to win the crown. BMW over the line in second place, and Mazda, against all the odds, despite that penalty on the final lap, complete the podium in third position. What a season, what an end to that race, what drama we've had here in Japan.
And look what that means there for the boys at Team Porsche. You know, Angel's been trying to get this team to a Manufacturers' Cup Series win for years and years now. So, I mean, his story is inspirational. The comeback from injury and to now this, undoubtedly the highlight of his Gran Turismo career. Jose Serrano again showing you why he's one of the best drivers in Gran Turismo. Flawless stint from him, and Sato as well, holding on under pressure to take a win there. That must have felt sweet to bring that car home in front of his home audience here. But commiserations to Team Mazda. We said one small mistake is all it took. That put Cardinal out of contention.
Very, very fine margins, as always, in the GT World Series, and you can see the disappointment there for Mazda and for Samuel Cardinal. That mistake on the final lap, and what it's cost them, what it's cost some of the drivers here tonight as well. Goodness me, what a job though from Team Porsche. They become the Manufacturers' Cup champions of 2025, and Angela Strozer in particular will be thoroughly delighted with that. As Jimmy alluded to, a couple of years ago, he had a terrible injury, broke his leg after a motorcycle accident, bounced back from that, returned to the GT World Series. And ever since then, you felt like he's been on the precipice of greatness, and he proved that greatness along with his team here tonight. And now the grandstand will rise for them in Japan. So you can see the race as we got underway for the grand final here at Abu Dhabi. Porsche led the initial stages of this one with Honda in second place, of course, the top two. in the first phase of it.
Yeah, just sort of really showing their intention there. Go hard early and try and build that gap. We saw Copeland and Honda Serrano get quite close to it, including at this moment here where Copeland actually ended up slapping the back end there of Porsche's Honda Serrano. Serrano, masterful recovery, just by keeping that head as Copeland there, showing his good sportsmanship and giving the place back.
Well, you know what sportsmanship is all about. It's not doing things that make you look bad. There were a couple of moments that Mazda had in that race that did make them look bad. Meanwhile, this is one of them. We're coming down towards the final part of this race. Mazda were attacking, and then you just see they just misjudged it, biffed it into the side of Mercedes. It cost Benelli and AMG a chance of victory as well.
I just don't think it's like a penalty. I don't think it is, but that's not our job, is it? Our job is to sit here and celebrate these guys. Team Porsche, great result for those guys there. Angel and Sarto's reaction there, a bit different. Very composed there from Sarto, and in a scroll in the back, shouting down the mic at him. That's your confirmation then. Team Porsche taking the win in the grand final over BMW. Good result there for BMW. What could have been for these guys? Fourth overall eventually in the standings by my maths, but a real shame for those guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. An absolutely phenomenal job from Team Porsche. Confirmation of the results then. 10 points was the eventual advantage they would have when all is said and done. Mazda in second place, Subaru on the podium in third position there overall as well. Great job from that team. And, well, they will be absolutely delighted with that one. No surprise at all. All the way further down the order, you can see Mercedes AMG, opportunity knocks for them. Such a disappointment at the end of that one. Let's catch up, though, with Team Porsche, Manufacturers' Cup champions of 2025.
Yes, we are down on the floor with the winners, Team Porsche. How are you doing, guys? It feels good to the touch, right? Life is beautiful, I would say. Is life beautiful right now?
Yeah, sure. What a day. What a day. You started fourth in the championship and you finished first.
Yeah, it's honestly I have no work for now. I'm just happy. Yeah, that's everything. Thanks to my teammates. They did a phenomenal job. And well, we are all champions. That's it.
4位で始まって今日ね1位で、いやもう言葉もないんですけども、チームメイトが素晴らしかった、ワールドチャンピオンになっちゃったよということでね、佐藤選手どうでした最後ね、かなり責任もあったと思うんですけども、so you had a lot of pressure for the final stint. How was it?
安マリーナを抑えるところを抑えたら意外と抜かれないサーキットなので、まあ自信はありました。
In Yas Marina, if you just you have a couple of points that you need to defend, and if you defend that place, it's difficult to overtake. So he had confidence in that.
Serrano, what was going on with Mazda where you had a little shifty around the corner? What happened there? And you held it together though. We were all like, whoa, oh, saved. Yeah. Nice.
When we had the contact, I thought, okay, we lose the championship. So
in the 1 second, you're like,
yeah, in 1 second, yeah.
I nearly had a heart attack.
That was stylishly done.
マツダとのですね、接触のところはですね、もう失うチャンピオンシップ失うと思ってですね、後ろではですね、もう本当にね、心臓が止まる思いだったということですけれども、なんとか守ることができたと。But he saved it. He saved the day. Yeah, it was really cool.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to your fans behind you right now? What do you want to say?
Arigato, Japan.
No translation needed.
Yeah, no translation needed for that one. Well, look, massive congratulations. You guys were so strong all day, and it really does come down to this final race. So you pleased with yourself? You're going to celebrate? Well, maybe not too much celebration. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Chotto.
Chotto ne.
Chotto celebration.
Chotto celebration.
I'm learning one word a day in Japan.
Okay. 今日習った日本語ですけど、明日もあるんでちょっとだけお祝いかなというふうに言っていますけれどもね。いやでも本当に素晴らしいですね。One more big applause.
Back to you, Tom and Jimmy.
Weekend, brilliant season from the Manufacturers' Cup, and what a season it's been, especially for Team Porsche. An amazing job, and just looked unfathomable, unfathomable. Sorry, I beg your pardon. pressure at the end.
Saw that contact. Well, that's going to be controversial. Keikoman did the right thing there. Redressed that position there, but drama all the way to the end. And yeah, I mean, I didn't think we'd ever see a non-Japanese manufacturer win this thing, given their heavy presence here, of course. But yeah, I mean, see Porsche do it, especially for, we've mentioned Angel before, but he's been a Porsche driver for as long as I can remember. He's always stayed with them for years and years and years. So for him, this must be extra sweet.
Absolutely. And also, for Jose Serrano, great job from him. He's on the precipice of greatness, also in the Manufacturers Cup, could become a double champion here this weekend. And for Sato as well. Brilliant for him, especially in front of his home crowd here in Fukuoka.
Yeah, there's got to be a pressure to that. We talk about that a lot, about pressure. I mean, when you're doing this stuff at home and qualifying for these events, you're literally in your nice, lovely bedroom, you've got a cup of tea, whatever you got there. But here, you have us idiots shouting over you. You've got a live crowd behind you. That guy with the crab mask, whatever it is behind you, terrifying in the background. So there's a lot of pressure here. So to put off that performance with that pressure as well on circuit is fantastic. They are worthy champions.
Absolutely, and if you're Mazda in particular, obviously finishing second in the overall standings is a great job, but it's going to hurt for a little while. Don't forget you can vote for your Dunlop driver of the day. Valerio Gallo, Jose Serrano, or Angel Nostroza are your options for that one. Who do you think has been the outlier in that? Who would you be voting for, Jimmy, if you had the option to?
I mean, Gallo had a very impressive drive in that Sardinia race. I mean, somewhat anonymous, I think. Maybe the car not quite to his liking in the final. But that's part of the Manufacturers' Cup. It's a team game. It's not about one individual driver. Although saying that, pick your favourite driver.
Nice and succinct and to the point. I like that one. Yeah, no, it really was a fantastic race there. And, for Lucas Bonelli, I mean, he recovered to fourth place at the checkered flag, but the contact, especially in that final lap, it was unfortunate is probably the best way of putting it.
That's a certified Bonelli moment, I think, where basically he does super well and then just gets taken out by someone. And he's like, cool, that happens to him every time. It's a real shame. But yeah, I mean, here are our suggestions for you for the drive for today. Jose Serrano, Nostroza, of course, or Valerio Gallo. Make sure the cast your vote.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as we say, of course, there's an opportunity for revenge again next season, vengeance, whatever you want to call it. For next year, if you look at Mazda, they're going to be disappointed with that. It's as close as they've come to taking the crown in the Manufacturers' Cup. And it's going to sting for a little while, especially for the drivers, all the effort and the hours that they put in.
Do you know why? Because I think that Cardinal could have done that. I think he could have won that. I think he had the pace to do it. But unfortunately, just that incident with Bonelli, that cost him the chance to do it. And I think it was just because, you know what, we're going to go full 4D in this one. Because they had that contact, they slowed each other down, and Bonelli caught him at that part of the circuit, and that thing happened. Had not been contact between Kokipan and Jose Serrano, we could be congratulating Mazda right now.
We certainly could be, but we're not.
Why not?
Congratulating Porsche.
There goes the 4D.
It's the way it works out sometimes in motor racing. You've got to, of course, do everything you can, but you've got to also have a bit of good fortune. Yes. And unfortunately, fortune wasn't in their favour here today. And, it is what it is, as a wise man once said.
It is.
Goodness me. Yeah, I mean, of course. We've also got the Nations Cup to come here tomorrow. A lot of the drivers that are competing in the Manufacturers' Cup here tonight are also going to be competing in that event. How do you then put a disappointment, say, for some of those drivers that have not had the best of evenings here tonight to then move forward and just focus on what's going on tomorrow?
I mean, you kind of have no choice. This is part of the game. You've got to try. The race ends, and then it's got to be dead to you. Now move on to the next one straight away. Because if you spend your time ruminating and thinking, oh, what could I have done differently, you're never ever going to put yourself in a mindset where you can be competitive again. So these guys, they're pros. That's exactly what they do. So I mean, Serrano, of course, is leading Nations Cup at the moment. That would be a nice double for him.
Absolutely will. Well, anyway, enough of us talking and analysing the race. Let's get down to the podium ceremony then, shall we, here in Fukuoka. Time for the podium ceremony then to begin here in Japan. And what a season it has been in the Manufacturers' Cup in 2025. Third place, giving it your all for Team Subaru, for Danny Solis, for Kylian Drumont and Takuma Miyazono. Second place for Team Mazda, Ryota Kokeman, Paul Ura and Samuel Cardinal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the 2025 Manufacturers' Cup champions of the world. Give it your
for Angela Nestroza, for Jose Serrano, and for Shota Sato for Team Porsche! Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you're able for the national anthem of our winning manufacturer of Germany. The national anthem of Germany plays out here in Fukuoka for the Manufacturers' Cup champions of 2025, Team Porsche. Now time then for the trophies to be presented. Third place, Ikuyo Maeda for Mazda. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, for Masahiro Tsuzaki for Sumitomo Rubber Industries, presenting the third place trophy, awarded to Team Subaru. Team Subaru, Danny Solis, Killian Drummond and Takuma Miyazono in third position here today in Fukuoka. What a season the Japanese manufacturer have put together. A huge round of applause here for the third place team of Team Subaru, for Danny Solis, for Killian Drummond and for Takuma Miyazono. Now time for the second place trophy to be presented by Ikuyo Maeda for Mazda. Mazda finishing in second position here in the Manufacturers' Cup in 2025. Samuel Cardinal, Paul Ura and Ryota Kokeman are your three drivers that comprise of that team, and the medals being awarded to them. Second position for Team Mazda in the Manufacturers' Cup of 2025. And now time then for the trophies to be presented by Gran Turismo Series producer Kazunori Yamauchi as he makes his way onto the stage here in Fukuoka. First of all, the medals presented to Chile's Angela Nestroza, to Spain's Jose Serrano, and to Japan's Shota Sato of Team Porsche. To a rapturous applause at the front of the crowd here in Japan. And now time for the moment we've been waiting for the Manufacturers' Cup Trophy of 2025 to be held aloft by Team Porsche. This way. This way. This way.
Wow. My goodness. I mean, I thought it was over. I thought it was over in that last minute. Wow, that was great. Sasha, that wasn't really a question. I'm just too excited. I can't take it down.
All races were so excited. すべてのレースがどれも面白かったんですけど、どうですか？ They agree with me. Every race was really exciting, and you got so many goosebumps tonight.
Well, you need to come along to all the rounds, obviously, so you don't miss the action.
Invite me. Yeah. I'm available.
Guys,
don't call us, we'll call you.
Did you enjoy it? How's it feel to be back? You're not allowed to miss any more next year.
Yeah, I think this is a reminder that I gotta stay around there. That's how you gotta do it. But yeah, same for me. When Angel's saying he had a heart attack, just enough in the booth. Holy hell.
I had to pick him up from the ceiling at one point, to be honest.
We were like shouting for 2 seconds, right? I was like, wow!
Yeah.
Like, don't move.
It doesn't seem to matter what you do in the GT World Series. When all is said and done, you can't predict it. I mean, honestly, if you were a crystal ball reader or doing tarot cards or something like that, it's pointless. Because it just, whatever happens, it turns on its head on a sixpence, doesn't it?
Good life lesson, Never give up.
Never give up, kids.
I thought you were going to say never read crystal balls then.
Well, look, we have got an incredible another year to do next year. I know, let's get this one finished, but we do have tickets for Abu Dhabi. So if you ever fancy a little trip abroad, you can come along.
Yeah, why not? アブダビね、ラウンド1すぐまた来年3月ありますので、ぜひ皆さんチケットを手に入れて来ていただきたいと思います。Yep, all right, so.
That's going to be super cool. We're very, very excited. But don't go anywhere because tomorrow we're going to have the grand finals of the Nations Cup. Ooh.
明日はネーションズカップです、ファイナル。明日も来る方、拍手
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye!
また明日さよなら。
PlayStation.
And so with the Manufacturers Cup, Nations Cup, Manufacturers Cup Grand Final is done. I have mixed feelings about this thing. First of all, I don't know what to say about this, guys, but that first race could have been exciting, but it turned out to be like terrible. This is one of the most dullest part of this grand final, especially the disasters. Race 2 didn't go so well. But yeah, race 1 is definitely one of the worst because they got red flag, and I have no idea why. Plus, that girl in the suit made me pretty big concern. And I was very disappointed that Team Porsche won and became the Manufacturers Championship. I was expecting Subaru to win, but oh well. But Porsche have achieved their goal. They just accomplished. They became the only non-Japanese manufacturer to become champions of the Gran Turismo World Series, which is a good thing. And I said in the chat, when you mean by that there is no substitute, that means no one can ever replace the good old Porsche. Porsche is always here for it. They're here for it. They're always here. Every day. No one can stop us. Anyways, what a wild one. That's now all, folks. The Nations Cup Grand Final is going to take place tomorrow. And it's going to take place tomorrow. And but it's still going to be late, but it's going to take place 2 hours earlier than usual. It's going to take place at 1 a.m. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I need a break. Need some rest or something.
If I made a mistake, then I would have to retake and do it once again, even feel the pain. But there also lays a prize, and that made me realize that even if I was to fail, it will be in learning trail. If I hope for a trophy, I just can't rely on luck. I must do hard work to show the world what I can do. That's the essence of never giving up.